Hello.
Hey, Wolves, how you doing, man?
Oh,
You have a quizzical look on your face.
congestion.
Congestion,
Just
no!
really annoyingly congested. Yeah,
No, don't do that.
I hate that.
Eat spicy food.
I always have a 20% congestion going on
Wait, really?
in the back. Yeah. I have like I'm always slightly congested for years now. But every once in a while it comes around and goes like a lot stronger. Yeah, it's odd because it's not like an allergy thing. I don't know if it's one of those like go in for surgery to remove it or deviated septum type things. I don't know.
Let's be honest, Wooly. According to people who've heard us sleep, like I've heard you sleep. Your shit back in that nose area, it's all fucked up somehow.
Well, that was many years and many pounds ago.
Yeah.
Losing weight has led to a significant decrease in my snoring and apnea.
Well, yeah, I heard you snore in your 20s.
Well,
you snored like shit.
Yeah, and that was over 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
So
we probably.
I'm currently approaching double that age.
No, that's.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, fine. Sure.
We have a couple more of those things before.
Anyway, yeah, my sleep is different these days. But all that to say, it's just I get these weird congestion things. Yeah. What's going on?
Okay, let's see what's going on. I'm rapid with the human child that I have. I'm rapidly approaching sentences. Not there yet, but like you can see the wheels turn a little bit further every day.
Language.
And like new words get picked up slightly faster. Like, purple. Kid loves purple. That's the favorite color. Nice. And we know this because he'll say purple.
Hell yeah. Good.
He even said purple on Paige's stream. It was adorable.
Good taste.
But nothing crazy going on with that other than adorable, good baby. I played a lot of Monster Hunter over the past week because Monster Hunter Wilds came out. Big release.
Yes. I have heard quite a bit about that game, including one of the stories that it has sold over 8 million in units in 3 days, which is
it's doing okay.
It's Capcom's fastest selling game.
I don't know if you saw, but it was also like the #2 game on Steam yesterday. Like I think it was just below Counter-Strike.
And
which is pretty bananas.
And alongside that, I mean that sounds like what the Monster Hunter franchise is supposed to do to the industry, right?
Yeah.
By the old standards. But I also heard the story that Japanese Indian cuisine places are struggling to keep up with the cheese naan requests that are now going nuts.
You know how in a Monster Hunter game you have that part where, you're going to go eat some food and it's going to be like lavishly detailed because Japanese devs have gone absolutely bananas over food pornography.
Food porn, for reals, yes. And not the Dragon's Dogma, we just cut to video shit.
Yeah, which is cool in its own right. In Monster Hunter Wilds, there are 2 scenes that are like part of the mandatory story in which you all have a big dinner with people. And it is just a really long version of one of those food scenes.
Yes. So I have seen the cutscene where there's the 2 types. I've seen the one where someone rips open the naan and it bleeds mozzarella style, like super oozy cheesy out.
I spilled a drink all over my fucking
And if there's any part of you that is a cheese-loving person or even just a slice of pizza, god damn, does that put it in you.
Absolutely.
And it also like rivals the Like a Dragon bread tech.
That bread. So, okay, the bread is a one-off moment.
But the ripping of the naan is a very convincing bread rip with cheese inside. It's very, very well done.
It's very impressive. So before we even start to talk about Wilds, I need to put the baseline here, which is you haven't seen it, but I showed it off on my stream. Capcom sent me a gigantic wooden Monster Hunter crate filled with shit.
Okay.
With a wall scroll with my name on it and a really nice jacket and a bunch of cool little doodads.
Yeah, the Wilds influencer kit.
And they were like, "You are such a good influencer, Pat. We love you." So like, that's very appreciated. But I should put that out there before I talk about Wilds.
Did it take longer to go through the box or to beat the base game?
I was halfway through the game by the time the box showed up.
Damn.
So, my thoughts on Wilds are very complicated, and they were complicated enough that after I beat the campaign and rolled credits, I then went and played 10 hours of Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate on the Switch. The oldest readily available Monster Hunter.
Just to update your opinions.
Because I needed comparative information.
That is doing homework. Okay.
So you know when you go through a new sequel and you're like, oh, doesn't feel as good as the old shit. And then you think about like, is that even true? Like am I even right about that?
No, respect for questioning it and going to verify. That's interesting. I know that.
After you.
Well, I was going to say that I know that with Worlds, it was it was a much clearer discussion because it was like, yeah, we're moving over to a new engine, so it's going to be a whole weird thing until we get back used to it. But now we're like 3 new games deep, right?
Yeah.
So
there's now an incredibly strong dividing line between does mining a rock make that good sound effect or not? Like that to me is the dividing line between the old games and the new games is does it have that nice little drum effect when you gather an item or not? It's the most distinctive thing about the old games for whatever that lives in my head. I'll start with Wilds in order of things that like it presented to me, right? Because my thoughts on this game were like a big ol' up and down, right? They're mixed. So, Monster Hunter Wilds put out an online beta. You remember this?
I do.
The online beta ran like shit, bro.
And had no hit stop.
Disastrous performance, and it was missing hit stop, and that was like a big one. So when I went back to GU, I was like, oh, I understand why people are so mad about hit stop now. In GU and all the portable games, when you swing a weapon, it has these gigantic, exaggerated cartoon wind effects all over it, and blood is like a huge burst in the middle of the screen. Like it's very, very, very cartoon.
Maximilian did a nice like explainer,
he did.
And he showed exactly what he meant. Yeah.
So. Yeah, I get it. So now they put the hit stop back in. I have no complaints about the hit stop. The hits feel good. We can just put that whole thing to rest. Performance. So they put out a benchmark, and the benchmark obviously ran way better than the beta did. It was the final release version of the game's build, and people could use it and go, oh, you know what? That actually works pretty well. That works really well. Okay, I figured out the settings that I can use to play the game on. All right. So I start up Wilds, and the very first thing that I have to tell you is that the benchmark is not an accurate benchmark of the game's performance.
Why not?
Because the benchmark does not include both of the always-on DRM processes that are eating up part of your performance.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So Capcom has standard de novo anti-tamper.
Yep.
And it also has a Capcom-specific anti-tamper running on top of it.
Damn, okay. So your resources are even more taxed than the benchmark would have you believe.
And you know what? That's not that big of a deal. I'll kick the resolution down and it'll be fine. So I'll tell you this right now. I have an i9 13900K processor. It's a very expensive CPU. I have 32 gigs of RAM. I have a 4090, and I have a PC that all it does is stream video games. This game runs like shit. It runs really bad. And you will then go and say that, and people go, well, I got it running to 60 FPS or 100 FPS or whatever. And it's like, absolutely. But then you go to the Digital Foundry thing, and it spells out in much clearer words than I could, which is the game runs really bad for what it is showing you. It is showing you a marked increase in fidelity over Monster Hunter World, which also ran incredibly poorly at release.
Did you go back and test Rise on your PC?
Rise runs at 1 billion frames a picosecond at any resolution you want.
Is that because it was Switch?
A Switch game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So it from Rise, it is like crazy whiplash. It's very much like Dragon's Dogma 2. It's very much like the game that I'm looking at is not justifying how much power it wants. My PC broke a fan streaming it.
Wow. Okay. So Rise was built for Switch, then ported to Steam.
Yeah.
And thus it's fine. Yeah. Okay.
So Wilds, like, and it's this really strange thing that I had trouble typing, and I had trouble bouncing it off of somebody because I was streaming and there wasn't, a human that I could talk to, right? It's like Rise is a Switch game, but it runs at 1 million frames a second, and it runs at native 4K, and it runs with all the anti-aliasing and effects perfectly 100% of the time, right? In my opinion, even though the fidelity of the assets in Wilds is much higher, because I can't get it to do that even close, and there's a persistent stutter when you turn the camera because there's a texture loading problem, Rise actually looks way better overall.
Yep. The aiming higher is not worth it if you can't pull it off.
Right?
Yeah.
So like the textures, I'm a graphics guy. I love nice graphics, and I love frame rates. I don't usually talk about textures because it's like nitpicking shit. I burst out laughing at like how bad the textures on a lot of the items that the game wants you to zoom in on are. Like, I am talking actual, like, and I went and double checked, and I triple checked with Digital Foundry, actual PS3 like textures, and they want those right up in your face. So hey, that's fine. We'll download the high res texture pack, which is a 70 gig download, which is that's why they separated it out, because it's quite a large download.
Texture optimization is what blows file size. Yeah.
Right. It's like, okay, so I download the high res texture pack, and it does look good. Like they're good and no complaints. Except it introduces a persistent stutter all the time. No matter what setting.
Oh my god.
And it causes the game's already bad asset loading problems to get worse. So do you remember in the halcyon days of old, Unreal Engine 3 would load in a scene on a camera cut, and then the texture's got to catch up. And you would see characters become wildly more detailed after a couple seconds. In Wilds, this happens when you turn the camera.
Oh, things unload and pop back in.
Like the level of detail thing on like trees and rocks pops in when you turn the camera.
Jeez. Okay.
So like in a screenshot, or if I'm not streaming it and I'm running it all max settings, very nice, very pretty, but like the performance is terrible. Digital Foundry put out a video in which they basically explained that everybody who doesn't have like a 3080 or higher should not even bother to play this game on PC.
Okay.
Which is a huge fucking ask.
Well, that's what like Rip Reggie.
That's like 5-10% of Steam owners have shit that high. Like,
that explains the failure there. What I've been hearing as well, word on the street is that there are typos in INI files so that the word resolution is misspelled, and you have to manually correct it to see certain settings improve.
So get this. That doesn't matter. It's a Japanese game made by Japanese people. The game's code wants the typo.
Oh, okay. So that's nothing. All right. False alarm.
Like the internal game files want the typo version. When you change the typo to it being correct, the game then just looks at whatever the default value for that would be.
Okay.
It's just funny that there's typos in there.
Okay.
What's not funny is that the game defaults to using a really low amount of CPU cores, and that you can go change that to fit your computer in the ini file, and it results in a massive performance boost. In addition, the game doesn't let you turn off volumetric fog, because volumetric fog is an effect Capcom loves, and it also hides textures going completely nuts in the background. If you turn that off, you get like a 30% performance boost.
So you've got to go in and do it yourself. It's not a part of the in-game options.
Yeah. The in-game options, you can go for volumetric fog being high and low. And the other thing is that was exactly the same thing that happened in World. If you turned off volumetric fog in World, your game ran like 20% better.
Okay.
It was crazy.
So aim for Switch from now on then.
So basically, just like World, it's actually I've been doing some dicking around. The performance of Monster Hunter Wilds is approximately equivalent to the performance of Monster Hunter World, relegated, like, compared to the PCs of its era, right? In that if you have a really fancy, expensive PC, yeah, you can run it at a really good frame rate and it looks nice. If you have anything other than that, it runs like shit, like bad. So grab it on a console. Now, if you want to play on a console and you want to use the performance mode, get ready for that adaptive resolution to dip down to like 720.
Okay.
When it needs to.
I was going to ask you, so you investigated on PS5 as well?
I did not.
Okay.
I'm going off DF and talking to people. So yeah, basically the game runs like shit. Just like all modern Monster Hunter games, it runs really bad. But let's move past that. By the way, all Monster Hunter games that were the first release all ran really bad. Every single version of the series, the first release on the thing that it came out on ran like shit.
Even the old ones?
Oh yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. I think the best running game they ever put out was like For You, and that ran at a loose 40 something kind of FPS, and that was a fucking 3DS game. So, all right. You know what? I've fixed up my files and I've got Wilds ready to go. All right. So first of all, a lot of things show up that are really interesting that I like. Your hunter talks. You select your hunter's voice, but they speak, and not like grunts and shit when you're in a fight. No, they talk. They have conversations with characters. They are a character.
Nice. Good.
They do things in the cutscenes. They fight monsters in the cutscenes, rarely with their weapon, but they will like do environmental stuff and shoot them with the slinger. And the tone is very different. In World, every cutscene where you encountered a monster, your character went, "Oh, fuck, monster," and then ran away.
And then and she had to do all the talking for you.
In Wilds, when your hunter discovers a monster, they usually get one over on the monster before the actual fight starts. Like they drop a rock on its head, or they shoot it to save someone, or they narrowly avoid a big attack and the monster gets frustrated.
Okay.
So tonally, it's very different. On top of that, we have our new bird companion, which is not a palamute. It's a sacred. It's not a chocobo. Trust me, it's not a chocobo. Even though you get the ability to customize it and make it look identical to a chocobo and all yellow, it's not a chocobo. Wink. That wink is for the audio people.
I like the idea of just fast forwarding to a full-on 6 Pokemon in your back pocket while you're going monster hunting in the future, because you got 3 now, right?
Yeah. So you hop on the sacred and you start running into one of the game's primary issues. They want to streamline Monster Hunter, because even World and Rise were very hard to get into unless you had a friend like kind of pushing you on the back, because there's so many dozens of subsystems interacting all over each other, right? So we got to streamline the new player experience, and they have streamlined it in a way that I think is the wrong way. they have automated huge proportions of the new player experience. So, for example,
In what way?
hop on the Sacred. Do you know what the Sacred does when you hop on it? It starts running towards the nearest monster automatically.
Oh, it's a rail you're locked onto.
And to make sure you're not bored, you can now slinger grab items as you pass them.
But
So,
you don't control it. Jeez.
if you want to control the bird like a fucking video game and still keep the automatic thing, you can go into the settings and you can change manual control on, and then the way that you control it, because the way that you control it when it's in manual is like a race car where you steer it left and right and you hit R1 and R2 for the fastness and the brakes.
Okay.
So you can turn it off, and this leads to problem 2, which is there are an enormous amount of incredibly cool features in this game. You can turn off the damage coefficient so you can get raw numbers, which is the one that Monster Hunter fans tend to like. You can change the way the target camera works to either a regular lock-on like Dark Souls or an old-fashioned Monster Hunter camera where you just hit a button to like recenter on a monster. Millions of options that are all buried deep in the gameplay section of the options menu that has multiple pages of things in a gigantic wall of text that is difficult to navigate. And some things that you would want to do, like turn the Sacred back to manual, require like 3 different toggles that are not on the same page.
So Worlds had the fireflies to track where the things were. And
yeah, you'd see the fireflies and they'd snap your neck.
Yeah, and that seemed fine.
So scout flies are back.
And then jumping on the dog, you would then run through, you controlling it, I guess, and so I guess, was there like anything wrong with that? Like,
nope. So this is both now. And when you finally go into the options and turn Sacred to fully manual control, you get a really good compromise, which is if you want the monster to run, if you want your Sacred to track and run after the monster or item you've pinned on the map, hit up on the D-pad, he'll run over, you'll hop on, and then you will sprint away automatically. Or if you want to do it manually, hit down on the D-pad and you will have full manual control. For some reason, that's not the default.
Yeah.
For some reason, the default is every single time you hop on the bird, it just sprints away towards your objective, and all you can do is like kind of steer it left and right to get closer to items.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that are super strange about the way the game wants to automate and control. It's weird.
Does it so I feel like the flow of Monster Hunter from, going through worlds and stuff, it's like, okay, there's obviously the meat and potatoes is the hunt and the kill, the fight.
Yeah.
And then a lot of downtime in between hunts, doing busy work, leveling things up, making things, and then there's the preparation phase for going into the next thing. Like, does this philosophy extend into like streamlining those sections as well?
Yes. So this is where you run into issue 2. So for the longest time, Monster Hunter players have said that low rank is the tutorial, high rank is where the real game starts. And the devs have taken that to heart, and now low rank is the tutorial and high rank is where the real game starts. And as a result, I would say that low rank in Wilds and high rank in Wilds are functionally completely different games, from their structure to their goals to their mechanics.
Okay.
So you start your low rank campaign and it's very dramatic and you have a big fight and you have a tutorial monster, Chatacabra, and you beat the fucking piss out of that thing. You beat the bricks off it. Like, it's fucking embarrassing. That poor bitch. And then you discover what your formula for the next 10 to 15 hours is going to be. Cutscene, walk and talk, like a classic, like might as well have a finger to your ear walk and talk, right? Cutscene, monster introduction, monster fight. You may have noticed I did not say smithing or prep.
Yeah, the hub.
So they give you a little hub, and you can go smithing, and you can go get items. However, the items you start with in your box, and the items you will be picking up at random when you're traveling to places, and the items that they give you by default from monster hunts and quest rewards are plenty to go through the entire low rank campaign straight through,
ignoring
straight through
other mechanics.
Like if you wanted to, you could clear the entirety of low rank with just making up random pieces of armor that you could after every hunt. I made 2 sets in the 15-hour campaign. One about 5 hours in, and one at about 12 hours in. And I didn't need to make them. I wanted to make them because I wanted my character to look cool in cutscenes.
Now, how much of that is based on skill taking on the monsters with low level items?
Some, obviously. Some of that is definitely part of it. But the low rank campaign is generally easier. So now I'm going to skip back to me playing GU over the past week, and I've been figuring out why the game feels so much easier.
Did you start from scratch?
And I realized that it has the same difficulty curve as an old Monster Hunter game, but people usually count that as number of monsters equal this amount of difficulty. No, now it is amount of hours equals this amount of difficulty. So in 9 hours playing Monster Hunter GU, I fought 3 large monsters in total.
Did you start from scratch?
Trying to figure out key quests, tutorials, egg quests, gathering, mushroom fucking bullshit.
Did you start a save from scratch, or did you load your old save?
I did. I started a save from scratch.
Okay.
In Wilds, the first time I carded was about halfway through the game's campaign, which was about 8 or 9 hours in, which is the first time I carded in Monster Hunter GU. The difference is that in Monster Hunter GU, I was fighting a fucking Genprey, which is like a tiny little fucking lizard. In Monster Hunter Wilds, I carded fighting what was it? I don't remember what it was. I think it was like a tough ass Rathalos, something like that. I carded twice in the entire campaign. No, 3 times. I carded 3 times in the entire campaign. And the campaign is extraordinarily linear. It is, hey, go on the cutscene, go on the walk and talk, explore the area. And by explore the area, I mean they put you and your party in a guided zone where if you try and walk out of it, they go, no, we're not going there yet, and force your character to turn around.
Okay, yeah.
Like a fake exploration. And it's very linear. Now, you could, at any point, break off from that and do optional quests and play multiplayer and grind out materials. But why would you do that when nothing is giving you much of a challenge anyway?
I was going to ask it, does the campaign steer you towards the multiplayer platform and go hang out over there for a bit?
No. Okay. So multiplayer in the game's campaign is inconsequential. It's still there if you want to set it up, and you can SOS hunter like in Worlds, so that you can be like, I am having trouble
join somebody
here.
That needs help. Yeah.
But it is actually like genuinely designed for you to just beeline it single player the whole way through. And the reason I know this is because I played half of that campaign in multiplayer and discovered that if you have multiplayer in that campaign, you are going to ruin that campaign for yourself. So Monster Hunter has always like multiplied monster health and damage. Sorry, monster health usually by how many people are there. It's basically 1.7 or I think 2.4, depending on how many people are there. If you roll into any low rank quest with 4 people, you are going to dominate that thing in under 5 minutes in a way that is specifically annoying to wilds. So in old games, yeah, you'd beat the fucking piss out of any monster in low rank if you had a full group, right? Even in the Gathering Hub, which is the multiplayer thing. The difference is the Monster Hunter Wilds has a new mechanic called wounds. So wounds is if you bash on like the tail or like the front leg or whatever enough, you'll get it ready and it'll glow and it'll have a wound. And everybody has a wound attack now. So what happens is, I would use my greatsword, I would hit the wound attack on the glowing red spot, and I would do a unique attack that would like drag the whole sword along the monster, and then it would flinch and it would pop, and then I'd get parts out of it. Right? It basically takes part breaking to like a new new level.
New implementation of that. Yeah, okay.
So wounds is really cool. And when you're playing solo, wounds is this nice little like way to force a flinch or defend yourself or get more parts or whatever. When you have 4 people in low rank, when you are flinching the monster from its wound, other people can also flinch the monster from their wounds or create new wounds. So if you do if you do the campaign in multiplayer, you run into this situation over and over and over in which the monster can't fight you for like 90 seconds because the time it takes for everyone to do the wounds, new wounds spawn.
You stack each one on top of each other.
And you are just unlocking these things.
It's determined by weapon?
And it's determined by damage to any given part.
Okay.
So if I'm like cracking a wound open on the face and somebody is taking that monster's mostly still time to beat on the tail, by the time I'm done, they will have a wound on the tail and they'll do it, and now I can beat on the head some more.
Stun lock it. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And it feels like I don't know the numbers, but it feels like monster health increased because of multiplayer, but wound threshold did not. Because they seem to appear at the same rate. So when I was playing through the first half of that campaign in multiplayer, I was bored to tears because I would do half an hour of chatting with the gang at the base and a 5-minute walk and talk and a little bit of exploration and then a monster cutscene, and then people would load into my game and we would kill the fucking thing in under 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I would have no reason to upgrade for any of that shit. And then I would go back to the walk and talk and the cutscene and this shit. And it has a really poor pacing if you play it in multiplayer. I would advise anyone who plays Monster Hunter Wilds to not touch multiplayer at all until you beat the game. Like, I bet that was a argument somewhere as to whether or not to even allow non-SOS multiplayer, but people would have gone nuts if you couldn't play through the whole game multiplayer.
And it's still doing the thing where assuming you're not curb stomping it, that like it'll have a phase and then it'll change locations and you got to chase it up to that spot. And
absolutely. Now chasing them to new locations is now really simple because you hit up on the D-pad and then the sacred chases after them.
True.
And as they're chasing after them, you're like, I'm going to sharpen my weapon and I'm going to eat a heal.
Right. Okay.
So but once I switched to single player at about the halfway mark, which also coincided with the increase in difficulty in general, I started having a much, much, much better time. So if they're going to want you to really focus really incredibly strongly on this story, how's the story? It's really, really great.
Really?
For a Monster Hunter game.
I mean, is Monster Hunter not just kind of like, yeah, there's a story, it's there, or whatever?
So, Wooly, I'm going to tell you.
Okay, it feels like the vibes have been, fuck the dumb story, the cool characters you get to meet are awesome, and just leave it at that.
That has usually been the case. There is one Monster Hunter game that has a decent story, and it's For You. And the only reason people like that game's story, including me, is because Gore Magala, the monster, which is the titular like final boss of that game, hates you specifically.
Okay.
Like it is almost a rivalry. However, I've made a joke about this, and I'm going to make that joke again. Monster Hunter 1, 2, 3, 4, Generations, Stories 1, World, and Rise all have the exact same story. Every single one is, well, monsters around here are getting really crazy. I wonder if there's a new monster in the region disrupting their ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
We should go find out what new monster is doing something weird, disrupting the ecosystem. Oh, it's introduced a new mechanic to the game, like the Frenzy Virus, or the Elder Dragon Eater, or the Wings of Ruin, etc. We have to stop the monster that's causing that to save the ecosystem. It is literally every single game has the exact same plot. And so does this one until it doesn't.
Okay.
It is the first game they have ever made in this series that actually does have a twist going on.
Okay.
And it is not just a twist. It's the one that everyone wanted.
Okay.
And it is the deepest deep pull from a non-canon Monster Hunter 1 art book that people have been asking for decades.
Interesting. Okay.
And they totally do it. And it's exactly what I wanted.
Is the formula also that like the new threat is a giant god that is a set piece of a boss, so it's not the real fight, and then there's an actual
no, it's
secondary?
a fucking fight.
Okay.
No, it's a fight.
Okay.
They also start to include little narrative elements that were known to freaks like me, but not to anyone else because they're not actually in the game. So the long and short of it is people would ask, hey, how come in Monster Hunter you just go and fuck up any given goddamn piece of wildlife for like no reason? Like, what the fuck is up with that?
Conservation.
Why are you guys such assholes?
Conservation is what I was...
You are conservationists and
understanding.
researchers, and there is actually a subdivision of poachers that you never, ever, ever, ever see, which is people who hunt monsters for profit or without authorization. So, in this game, in every narrative moment, literally every single time you fight a storyline monster, your handler, you have to ask them for permission, and she will tell you that the guild authorizes the hunt of blank for this reason. So it's this nice little thing where, you know, a monster like shows up and causes a roadblock, but is not otherwise violent or harmful. So you have to ignore it. But then when it becomes a legitimate problem or a threat to people's lives, you get the rubber stamp. You get your deer permit, essentially, to go take it out. And they do an interesting thing with this, where if you just fuck off from the story and go start hunting monsters that you see in the wild, your handler will tell you to fucking stop that. She'll be like, no, you do not have authorization to hunt this.
Oh.
What are you doing?
Interesting. Huh, okay. Because I feel like,
and you get less rewards from that as a result.
World encouraged you to like stay in the field and like
just get out there,
take on the next thing and the next thing,
just punch things. Yeah. So it's really, really nice. Every single hunt has a little like not quite release the limiters, but like, come on, let me at him, Chief.
Okay.
The finale and the final boss are really great, really, really, really great. The flagship is a really interesting monster and a really fun fight. Of a huge ups to the game's story and low rank campaign. You fight, I want to say like 15, 16, 17 monsters in that campaign. There are only 3 old monsters in the entirety of the game's campaign.
Wow.
It is nearly exclusively new guys. And the ones that do come back from older games, one hasn't been seen since the fucking 3DS. One is the one that has to be there because it says Monster Hunter. And the other is a pick that I never thought was going to come back, especially not so soon. And the two of the older ones are weird, deviant versions that don't function like their normal selves.
Interesting.
So like it is a It is a brand new roster for 99% of the campaign, which is awesome. It's really great.
What was the returning count on Rise like? Because because in Worlds I remember
50-50.
Okay, because I remember that the lack of like, well, essentially like the amount of monsters that couldn't be there was the thing that people were bummed about with World, right?
The World, so the it's one of those interesting things. You talk about it like a fighting game, but in reverse.
Yeah.
Monster count is like the #1 thing anybody ever wants to know. Like how many in there. We've had situations like Try on the Wii where 18 fucking monsters were in Try on the Wii. That is fucking ridiculous. That is terrible. That is ruinous. And then you get stuff like GU, which has 100. Like,
I feel like every time you've talked about like GU, it's basically been like, this is the end of the same engine build-up. So there's like more than there's like you said like 60 or 70 or whatever.
GU is Street Fighter Alpha Collection.
Everything is there.
Turbo. Everything.
Yeah. So going back,
GU is Capcom versus SNK2. That's what Monster Hunter GU is,
or Marvel 2 for that matter. Like all the sprites.
Yeah, Marvel 2 is a better example actually. So World had 40. I think, or maybe 38. Wilds has 29. Which is the low end of what has come out in the past.
Okay.
However, it depends. They're doing the title update thing, right? They're going to be putting out new monsters every couple of months. So it depends how fast they put out those new monsters every couple of months, right? World had less. World had 30. Okay, so it's about the same as World. So there are 2 monsters coming in April. It'll be unclear to see how many more will come after that.
Well, I'm happy that like that's cool that folks are down for the new, because like that sounds pretty like
the new monsters are also great. There are some real winners in that new cast. There is a cephalopod skeleton now, and they have retrofit the spider skeleton in. So bugs and squids.
Oh, as an entire
now.
type. I see. I see. Okay.
The cephalopod, the cephalopod or squid skeleton is great. It is super fun and super weird. So it has a really good roster. It has a big monkey. It has a bunch of wyverns. You know, Rathalos and Rathian are there. It's got a bunch of brute wyverns. It's a really strong roster. And I was feeling really mixed. So I beat the campaign, which ends extremely strong, with a fight that you can't play again.
Like a big story moment. That's
a big story boss that you get to fight once. Just like Xeno'jiiva in World, where you had to wait for them to get added to the game in a patch as a real fight. A monster, the final boss, does not have its own armor set. It does not have its own weapon. And apologies if you guys don't like me talking about data mining, but it does have its own armor set and it does have its own weapon. It's just not in the game right now.
It's not the kind of thing where you could pick it on one of the like secondary mission sort of menus where it's like go into a like,
no. You could SOS
instance
for it, right?
Okay.
But no, it doesn't have anything right now you can do. So I was feeling super conflicted because I did like the direction the story went, but I was frustrated by the game's terrible performance, and I felt really, really, really railroaded. I talked to Gene about it at length, and he described it. It's like Monster Hunter became Red Dead, because when you're in these walk and talks or the story wants you to do something and you try and like move, like the fucking game hates it. It will like auto turn your character back to the path and shit like that. It's fucking infuriating. It's
yeah.
And like it's not that bad on a objective level, because it's actually less intense than it is in other games. But this is Monster Hunter, where it's been completely free form for almost every game that's ever existed. So it's really, really, really frustrating when the game was no, go back, go look at this, go look over here, come on.
No, I was just thinking. It's in World. It was Zora Magdaros, right?
It sure was.
Yeah, that. Like after doing that in plot, you could like re-instance it.
You'd find them again
or whatever. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So I was feeling really torn. I was feeling very confused. There's another issue that I skipped over in the game's presentation, which is the game has a seasons system. So I forget the name of all of them. There's the fallow, which is like everything's dead and dying. There's the plenty, which is like summertime and it's beautiful. And then there's an in between that I can't remember the name of it. Right? You spend 99% of the game's campaign in fallow, which means that the environment is extremely. Oh, inclemency is the second one. Thank you. The environment is extremely desaturated. We're talking like the area, like the area called the desert area. Literally, the entire screen is brown. Even the sky is kind of brown. It looks like you are running like a fucking broken filter to pop your HDR on it. Like it is brown or gray. It looks bad. And then you beat the game and you unlock the plenty, and it is more saturated. It is better looking. The sky is clearer. It runs better because there's less fog everywhere. It almost feels like a sequel to itself in how much better the game looks after you beat the game.
It's a season or an area?
It is a season.
Okay.
But the campaign takes place exclusively in
one of them.
Sad, ugly season. The game also teleports you around constantly at the end of your quests, so you have a really hard time getting a feel on where the areas are. So you beat the game and you roll credits and you start high rank. And this is where I've never felt this way about a game before. Because right away, the game starts to dramatically improve in literally every single way.
Okay. Yeah.
It feels like its own sequel.
So I was about to say that it sounds like from what you're describing, basically, the onboarding is poor, the optimization is poor, and you go through that, and eventually you can fix and change and edit some settings, and then you can get further into the campaign where it gets better towards the end. So... Yeah. There's an upwards trajectory here.
There's a very strong upward trajectory, and then you get to high rank, and I hope this makes sense. High rank is such a dramatic improvement to every aspect of the base of the game's progression, systems, mechanics, visuals, performance, that it made me pissed off. Because this is the game that I thought I was going to be playing 14 hours ago.
Yeah, okay. And it's lost behind completing the onboarding initial run new game.
So for people who are more familiar with Monster Hunter, some of what I'm going to say is going to make a lot more sense. There is not a single capture quest in the entirety of the campaign.
You kill everything?
What's that?
Captures in like don't kill,
trap and
trap. Yeah.
The very first high rank quest is a capture quest, and that's where your tutorial for capturing starts. So that really tells you like what the priority was for new players. And it is a capture quest against 3 Yuan-Kut-Kus. So you not only have to learn how to capture it, and Yuan-Kut-Ku is a very like annoying, tough monster. You also have to dung pot it, which is a mechanic you probably didn't learn. And you're in the forest, and the forest is now bright and beautiful and gorgeous. It is the first HR quest against a low tier monster is more exciting than the game's finale, like in terms of gameplay.
It sounds like they've basically taken the Kirby philosophy and applied it to Monster Hunter here, where the Kirby games begin once you beat the first main thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
You folks in the chat are right. There is one instance in the early game where they teach you how to use a dung pod.
Okay.
So you beat Yancut Ku, and then now the story has, even the presentation of the narrative has changed now. Now, Alma will talk to you as you're traveling somewhere, and then they'll say, hey, go talk to somebody. And you talk to somebody for like 2 minutes, and then they go, hey, man, get out there and do whatever. And from that moment onwards, the game's structure completely changes. The map starts rotating through night and day and seasons. You have a little chart like Majora's Mask that shows you who's going to show up at what time of day and during what weather. And they say, go out there and just fight shit. So you go out there and ride around and fight something. And when you beat it up, when you knock it over the first time, or when you mount it, you get the quest started, and it auto does the quest for you and auto posts the quest. And then you beat it and you carve it, and then it says quest complete, and then you just get your shit back together on your sacred, and then you cook on the ground before going to the next one.
Yeah.
And you just run
and you're
off
free,
in
and you're just free,
and just go, and you just go and go and go and go. And that is what the fucking game should have been from the very beginning. And then you would do urgent quests against tougher guys. On top of that, the interface is not good. And I don't think there's a single place that the interface is worse than game's most primary feature, which is multiplayer. This is the most confusing multiplayer menu system I have ever seen in my entire life. I actually mean that. I thought about it for a while. I've been playing GU. It is so bad, I had to have chat explain to me on the second or third day how to party up with Gene, because Gene wanted to play. It was very, very confusing. So there are 5 different types of multiplayer lobbies. When you start the game, there are 4 options to start the game. You can start the game in a recommended lobby. You can start the game in online single player. And I can't remember what the other 2 fucking things are. Can't remember. So, in order, you can be Hunter Friends. That's the in-game friends list, which you can go look at. And if somebody's playing in a lobby or doing a quest, you can join them from there. There's Squads, which is like a little guild where you can have people join that. And if they go into the squad menu, they can look at where you are and join. There is the lobby itself, where people are wandering around inside the communal hub and can walk up to the handler and join the party if you've already started a quest. And here's where it gets really fun. There are link parties and environment link parties. A link party is a lobby agnostic group that you can invite people to that will auto post quests that you join to them where they are, and then they can join up. So when I had Gene and Diana and someone else in my link party and I started a main story quest, it would auto post the quest to them, and they could go, I want to join that. So what would happen is you fight the story cutscene, and then you start fighting the monster for 2 seconds. Then they would load in about 30 seconds afterwards. But link parties don't coexist in the same environment. You can't roll around the world with a link party. That's only for quests. If you want to roam around the environment together as a group, you need to join an environment link, which actually does drag all 4 people to the same instance, and then you'll be auto joining quests together. This is so complicated. It is so complicated. Some of these things you could post quests in, some of them you can't. I just found out from chat just now that environment parties can't post quests to each other. They just have to get the auto quests you get from hitting monsters in the water. Like, it is so complicated.
I remember Worlds being kind of complicated for me, just not fully understanding how to do that, and in and of itself, and that kind of resembled what it used to be. Why?
You know how you post a fucking a quest in Monster Hunter 1, 2, 3, 4 Generations, Ultimate, and Rise? You go to the multiplayer hub, you give people your room ID, and they join. Then you walk up to the quest counter and start a quest, and then people walk up to the notice board and go, "I would like to do the quest that Pat just picked up." And then you eat your food and you go. That is how it has been in almost every single Monster Hunter game.
Okay.
World also does that with a couple of wrinkles.
So what
this is trying some new free-form join wherever play, and it's so confusing.
What I remember is the SOS thing where people can join you mid-hunt. I remember posting going to the board and just jumping into something on the board or posting. And then I remember there being, maybe this is a subsection or I'm misplacing it, but I remember there being like a location that was like on like a pirate ship deck almost. That was like a multiplayer space.
That was the Gathering Hub.
Yeah.
That's what those are. They're always called. They're called the Gathering Hub.
Yes, right. And I kind of was like, I wasn't too sure about that. And it took a second to get it.
What's going to happen? And I want people to remember this for when it happens. What's going to happen is that people are going to use these 5 different types of multiplayer lobbies, and at the end of the day, in about 2 months, people are going to go, you know what, this actually is a really effective way to do multiplayer, because if I want to do this, I can use this one, and if I want to do this, I'm going to use this one, and if I want to do this, I'm going to use this one. And they're adding a Gathering Hub in the next title update in April. And you know what? This is actually a really good version of the multiplayer. And then they will forget the experience that many people had, which is not being able to figure out this impossible to fucking understand pile of shit, and then give up on multiplayer entirely because they're freaks and they push through because they love Monster Hunter. Like, there's gonna be like survivor's bias on this. Dude, I played every Monster Hunter. I am so confused by these fucking multiplayer menus. That's stupid. This is supposed to be the easiest part of the whole game, is getting a group of people together to go fight monsters or play with your friends.
This is also extra confusing because why wouldn't the design be streamlined based on the last 3 games experience? From like, there was a new engine, restart from scratch, and then wouldn't you just build off of that? Like, why?
No, dumb shit. Because you assume Monster Hunter goes 1, 2, 3, 4. We actually have 2 different games called Monster Hunter: Portable Monster Hunters and Home Monster Hunters now. The team that worked on World and Iceborne worked on Wilds. The team that worked on Generations Ultimate worked on Rise. How do you know this? Well, one, I mean, that's the development practice they've talked about, and it's actually really clear. But even a new player would know that, because when you load up the game, you get a save data import bonus for World and Iceborne, but not for Rise, because they didn't work on that one.
Okay, because basically...
So Sacrets are not sequels to Palamutes. Okay. Sacrets are a different team's own invention along the same lines.
That would explain it. Yeah. Okay.
They're not carrying over their work between the two. They're actually working in parallel.
That sucks. Because I kind of assumed, I was like, okay, well, I guess forward, like the GU stuff is all basically the momentum from the first game up until then, lessons and quality of life and all that stuff implemented, and then it drops off because of the switchover. But then here it's now scattershot. Yeah,
so Iceborne had mounts. And these are sequels to Iceborne's mounts. Palamutes were their own thing entirely, because Palamutes can fight.
Yeah, they were part of the battle. That's true. There was a whole mechanic about that. Yeah. So
We have a Street Fighter Marvel situation
yeah,
with
yeah,
this.
yeah. No, this is really frustrating if you're a fan of the franchise, because there's no consistency or promises that anything good is or bad will return in the future necessarily.
Absolutely. It reminds me, and this is kind of a weird pull for this podcast, but if you guys back in the day played Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Call of Duty Black Ops, those games always came out a year apart, and stuff like what does crouching do in those games would change depending on the developer.
Treyarch versus Ward.
Treyarch wanted you to do a dolphin dive, and Infinity Ward wanted you to go prone. And that changes a multiplayer first-person shooter pretty fucking dramatically. Just that little detail. There were more, but that was the most obvious one.
And also, we're not going to like meet in the middle or give up or compromise.
Never.
Yeah.
So like, this Wilds is a super weird game, because if you just wanted to play it.
Well, so can I just?
Sorry.
I had a bunch of questions from when you were talking about the changes to. I know, and then into the multiplayer. But before I forget, because if we go into the third section, I'm super gonna forget. Just design wise, is the idea here, I guess, that like, we can change up the onboarding for new people every time because we want to figure out how to make that less complicated. But if you're a veteran, you're going to stick it out and you'll get to the end no matter what, and at that point you'll get the game you want. So it's fine to kind of like push the real Monster Hunter experience to the back.
Veterans have always been like, I don't give a fuck about this low rank shit. I'm going to just power the fuck through as fast as I can to get to that good stuff.
And as you mentioned Iceborne, it's like, they're right, that was a DLC, but it's still its own full campaign, right?
Yeah.
And treated as an entry. So
in a year and a half or 2 years, we're gonna get Monster Hunter Cities or whatever.
Right.
And that's gonna have Master Rank and 20-30 new monsters and all the title updates. And that will have its own campaign as well. So it will also have a 5 to 15 hour campaign that you will blow through as fast as you possibly can before they let you out.
So never judge it on the basic run through the story to credits. That's not the game, and they don't care because that's not for you.
For You came out on the 3DS.
Oh God, here we go. Yeah.
Ha!
People like you are clearly just like, oh, what the game you're looking for is way back there.
Yeah. So if I was the type of Monster Hunter player who was like, I don't give a fuck about this, I just want to get to low rank, Wilds does let you skip cutscenes, which the other games didn't let you do.
Oh, the walk and talks as well?
No.
Okay.
But I'm going to delete my file, and I'm going to replay the whole campaign, skipping cutscenes. And I want to, and in single player, and I want to see how different that feels. I bet it's going to be real different. I bet it's going to be real fucking fast and real different.
Well, you said the first run through to credits was already insanely fast, right?
Yeah. Someone in the chat says you can just make a new file. So here's the thing about making a new file in this type of game. When you make a new file, it has to go into the second slot, and that looks ugly. Your real file has to be in the first slot, or else. So it has to be in the first slot.
What you're saying is rational and makes sense, and you
should
should not let anyone
rational. Thank you. I appreciate you telling me this.
Don't let anyone dissuade you from your course of action.
Right now.
Good.
Basically, there are a lot of different ways I could have played this game, and I feel like the way that I played it was by far the worst, and I'm going to put that on me because I wanted to stream it with my chat, which led to all the fights being jokes and being frustrated at being railroaded, where if I had played it by myself, I would have just done the same thing I did with every other Monster Hunter game of all time, which is do every single optional quest as it arises every single time. So it would have taken me twice as long to do the low rank, and I would have seen more, and I wouldn't have felt as railroaded.
Would you prefer if would you prefer A, it's the same thing, same setup, and made for new players, and completely railroaded, but it's half as long. Or B,
It's already half as long as Worlds campaign.
well, half that, so 9 hours to 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
Or B, you literally press the "I know what I'm doing" button, and then it just begins a different thing right away.
I think it's a little dangerous for us to armchair this a little too strongly, but I think that there's actually like a really easy solution they've built into the game. I think that the main game in low rank should be get out there and do whatever, just like it is in high rank. And then when you hit a certain hunter rank threshold, it pings you for an urgent quest. And then you go fight a new, tougher monster. And then they dump a lot of story onto that.
Isn't that basically how like a game like FF14 works?
Yes.
Right.
In fact, the game's... oh, you know what? When I was playing through the campaign, I was like, this feels just like Final Fantasy 16.
Right.
That exact...
Right.
Like, that exact...
Right.
Talk, walk, side quest, kinda. Huge, bombastic, fucking cool thing. Walk, talk, side quest, kinda. Mm-hmm. Huge, bombastic, cool thing, like over and over and over and over and over.
Big map, but it is not a map. It is a point to point to point to point.
Yeah, the map is like really poorly used until you beat the campaign. So it's like, it very much is like training wheels until the real shit. And it'll be interesting to see how fast they get those title updates out. I would like an average of 1 monster a month. So in April, they're putting out 2 new monsters. And if you go to the Monster Hunter Leaks Reddit, you can see who those monsters are going to be, and they're good picks. And then you can see what the title update monster after that is going to be, and that's also a really good pick. It's a really good pick.
The problems that you're describing about like being able to just gang stomp the monster in multiplayer, when you get to the higher difficulties, does it get to the traditional difficulty as well?
It's traditional high rank.
You got to fight and fucking survive.
Yeah. So like if you're a total vet and you know exactly what you're doing, you're gonna get to high rank and fight like a Kongala or something. And you'll be like, this ain't that big of a deal. But I mean, I rolled up to a Rathian and went, I know how to fucking fight a Rathian, and she tail swiped me and I died from full health. And I was like,
yeah, okay. So it is just like a fake mode stuck up top is what's going on there. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
I really think that if the game didn't go the place it did with its story, that I would have been way harder on this game. But the story goes to the exact place I have always wanted them to go in Monster Hunter. Like there is a singular picture of art that has been floating around since the aughts that I have been going, every time Monster Hunter comes up, I want to fight that thing. And we finally get to do it. And it's awesome.
I kind of want to throw out a spoiler guess, but...
go for it.
Is it a monster that is human-sized?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, that'd be fucking terrible.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. All right.
That'd be awful. You actually did fight a human-sized monster.
Isn't there a Gurren Lagann thing that turns into a Gurren Lagann like boss that combines and has like arms, legs,
they've done that.
humanoid?
That's called Adolka.
Okay. Yeah.
There is a mecha pilot final boss in Monster Hunter, and it's called Adolka. That's the final boss of GU.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I heard something about that.
No, I'll type out what it is in your Discord.
That's fine. You don't have to.
All right.
I don't know. I don't know what Monster Hunter fans want. I'm just throwing random shit out there. But yes, that's obviously me because I'm my brain speaking. So anyway.
Yeah. The whole system would completely fall apart with a human-sized monster.
Yeah, probably.
It would just... the whole thing.
For sure, it's not made for that. I'm like, what? When you talk about like, what is this world of humans and monsters? Like, okay, I don't know. Is it a person piloting a monster? Is it a fucking, or is it? I don't know. I'm like, there's only so many variables of what this series can be. You
need to go read some Monster Hunter
T-Rex
1 art
and
book,
dude with sword swinging at it. Like, what do you want to do with that? I don't know. Yeah, some Souls bosses are giant monsters, and some Souls bosses are small, and sometimes you know, I don't know.
Even the small Souls bosses are still like 10 feet tall. Like, you know, so the camera works. But yeah, no, good game. Going to become a much better game. I'm gonna let it sit for a bit. I'm going to delete my file and continue playing GU late at night when everybody else is asleep. And then when we get the title update, then I will restart that game and go back.
So you have not yet let the dust has not settled on your opinion.
No.
What do you think of it relative to not GU but Rise?
I think if someone asked me, "Hey man, I want to get into Monster Hunter, what should I get?" I would tell them Rise in a second. I would tell them immediately, like, absolutely no question. Rise, particularly because it has Sunbreak on top of the end, is like,
including the DLC. Okay,
is not even close.
And what do you compare it to with World and Iceborne?
I would also say grab World instead, because you probably can play those games a lot more easily and run them better. Like, going backwards is hard unless you're a freak, like me. Like, going back to GU, rough. There's some old shit in that's real annoying. If somebody said, "Hey man, I want to get into Monster Hunter," I would tell them play World of Rise, and then I would tell them to wait until the expansion for Wilds comes out.
Okay.
What I would tell them.
And for not a new player, but for someone who's looking for
they don't listen to anyone.
Well, it's someone who's a fan of GU and knows the games inside out.
Anyone who plays Monster Hunter and continues to enjoy Monster Hunter is already playing Monster Hunter. That's why it sold 8 million copies.
Of course, it's not a question about whether they should get it. It's more like, how do you stack them? How do you stack high rank in Wilds compared to?
High rank in Wilds is easily the best the series has ever been, no question.
Okay, cool.
But the low rank in Wilds is the worst it's ever been in a long time.
Understanding, yeah, that is a very strange dichotomy.
Like, I would say that's like a 7 and a 10 stapled together by their credit scene.
What if you had to beat World Tour to get to the fighting ground?
That's kind of what it feels like. Like, it feels a lot like Street Fighter's campaign, where World Tour. I enjoyed World Tour.
It was fine, you know.
It was fun. The story was fucking terrible. It was terrible. But like, the idea of, like, you must.
Mandatory.
It's like, it's annoying.
And the thing you want is right here. Yeah.
I didn't even talk about all the little features that they added. There's now clashes, like power struggles between you and the monster with anything that blocks. So, like, you'll jam your shield up into its mouth, and you'll both be like, "Fucking," and you'll try and knock it over. There's also, every weapon has a dedicated counter move. So, you know, every strike that a monster does where they hold up their hand real big and long and they go, "Oh, I'm gonna hit you." If you clash with that, you'll just power through it and knock the fucking thing right over.
Oh, wasn't that already a thing when you, like, with the perfect blocks and that on a charge and things like that?
So that was a thing, but it always depended on whether or not you flinched them, which was like a stun threshold.
Right, okay.
Now they're dedicated mechanics that it's like, no, if you perfect block enough times, you'll get into like a, like, I guess the closest I could call it mechanically is like a beam struggle.
Okay.
With the monster.
Okay.
Or you do like a very large attack that directly counters them and just knocks them on their ass. It feels very dynamic.
Interesting, because I'm thinking of like releasing your full ult or whatever right in the middle of a charge when it, like, you know,
so that was always dependent on their flinch status.
Okay.
So if you had done enough damage to them recently, you cross the invisible threshold. That's like a miniature stun, which is the flinch threshold. So what you would think of is people's videos where you would see like a charge blade element discharge into a Davos.
When I say the word ult, I'm thinking of like amplified elemental discharge.
But what you're not thinking of is that when the value isn't high enough and the monster just ignores it and just powers through you otherwise.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, gotcha. Yes.
Now it's a dedicated mechanic. So there's like mounting, grappling, grabbing, and countering. So there's a lot of really dynamic interactions with the monsters. What else you got? The game has its farm. It's just a different form. You can customize your bird to look like a chocobo, or it's a chocobo. Fucking chocobo. I have thoughts on like the way the end game weapon thing works, but I haven't touched it myself, so I'm gonna leave those thoughts alone. Yeah, good game. Launch is rough. It's not stopping anyone, and I feel a little bit like an old man because I'm playing GU and I'm like, wow, why don't they use the old Monster Hunter thing where you just post quests? And then I look at 1.3 million people playing on Steam right now, and I'm like, oh, that's why. Because having a dedicated single player campaign that feels like a regular normal video game, not like Monster Hunter, is the point.
A lot of people looking for that experience. Yeah, I can see that. When you do an SOS, NPCs show up first or can show up.
Yeah.
And
if you're offline, NPCs will show up, and the NPCs are also really strong. They're good.
I was like, how does that like? I'm sure you're not doing the flinch into flinch bits, but
you sure are, buddy.
Oh wow, okay.
You sure are.
How about that?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, the NPCs will kick the fucking shit. And there are a couple of the rappel quests where a really big motherfucker shows up and you're like, you're not killing this thing. You just need to survive and get it out of here. Those oftentimes have your hunter with you, Olivia, who is a older, very Jane Lynch looking lady, like very like older lesbian gym teacher kind of thing.
Okay.
Who has a hammer.
Okay.
And she's cool. The cast is cool. I like the cast. Your handler's great. Although, are you familiar with iPhone face?
No.
So I've been using the term iPhone face, and I have to explain it every time I say it. iPhone face is what happens when you put Ryan Reynolds in a Crusades film. And you go, oh, that motherfucker knows how to use an iPhone. I don't care if he's pretending to be the King of England or whatever the fuck.
The Gears kids.
Yeah.
Gears of War, whatever, future kids, where you're like, look at these influencers in Gears of War armor. Yeah.
Yeah. So
right.
Alma, your handler, works at your local coffee shop. Like she just does. Gemma, your Forge Master, is really cool for me and old heads because she is an existing Monster Hunter character that has been in an old game.
Okay, so for me, Worlds being the first one I've played, I feel like a lot of the characters that have been introduced there don't look like anime characters. Some of them are, but a lot of them are just kind of like Western faces and features.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I kind of get that impression of most of the cast already, you know?
Yeah, so your Forge Master in this game, your Smithy, is a character from For You called Little Miss Forge when she was a kid.
Cool.
That you picked her up on the trail. And she talks about the events of For You a little bit, which is really cool.
That looks like an RPG-ass character. Damn.
And the old guy who sends you on your mission, I believe is the Ace Lancer from For You as well. Just he got old. He's not hunting anymore. Yeah, your cast is really strong, except for the child character that is like the main character of the story, who is fucking intolerable.
Oh, love it.
Just awesome. The worst. He is so awful. He is so goddamn awful. And so here's the thing. Usually with child characters, you're like, oh, they're annoying constantly, right? No, Nata is fine. He's actually totally fine 80-90% of the story. And then he starts to become like the worst character Monster Hunter has ever had in a huge way. And every time he speaks, I'm like, oh my God, shut up, dude. Oh, shut your fucking mouth. You're so stupid.
It's not like something like, oh, the kid from Stories is now in the main line or something like
no,
that.
No. This is a brand new character.
Okay.
But basically, this child character in the story has a hot take that is so hot in the Monster Hunter universe that I'm like, just throw this kid to the wolves. I don't even give a shit anymore.
Okay.
And I never thought that a character in that setting could have a hot take. Because it's like, what could you even say? It's like the hottest take ever, and it's so dog shit. It's crazy. He is the dumbest character that has ever existed in Monster Hunter.
We should let the Rathalos into the camp.
Congrats, Wooly.
Okay.
You actually pretty much nailed it.
Okay, all right.
Why can't we just... This is a minor spoiler, but at one point in the campaign, you are watching a monster like cannibalistically devour animals at random and just be insane. And he goes, "It's just like me for real. We should be friends."
Got it. Got it.
And you're like,
yep.
It's like a rabid super dog at this point, man.
Yep. Okay. That has been the Monster Hunter cast.
It's a good game with weird issues, just like every Monster Hunter game ever. It's just now the issues are different, and that makes me scared and old. I'm old. All right.
But how does it compare to Dauntless? We'll be right back. both of those are able to work together. However, not only does it have the ability to switch between, it has the ability to simultaneously play both at the same time, which means if you're playing a game and taking a call, you can do both and hear them. If you're listening to music,
I don't know how that works. That's crazy.
and it dips and ducks the volume so that you can hear both at the same. It's incredible. It's a super duper useful feature, and it's my favorite. That is the best thing. There's a lot of times where, like, I appreciate the convenience of being able to switch between the two, but one step better is literally both at the same time without needing to switch. Really, really awesome. And then, you know what, on top of that, you got that comfy ear cushioning as well going on with it. So yeah, the crossplay dual wireless transmitter system on the Stealth 700 is fantastic. Get the wireless, get the wires out of your life, get the quality, and get yourself the Stealth 700. It's got quick charge on that 80-hour battery life as well. So,
oh man,
it is.
I love quick charge.
It's fantastic.
I'm getting annoyed by devices that don't have quick charge now.
Right? Why wait? Head to turtlebeach.com and use the code CASTLE for 10% off your entire order. That's 10% off your order at turtlebeach.com with the promo code CASTLE. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Support our show. Tell them that we sent you. And get yourself the ultimate immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach today. Thank you, Turtle Beach.
Thanks, Turtle Beach.
This week, the podcast is sponsored cha-ching by Shopify.
Hey, Shopify. Hey, man.
Shopify is the number one checkout on the planet. If you have a any sort of online business that you are starting or in the middle of growing, or you're already at, your high level commerce platform usage, at all levels, Shopify is pretty handy and useful for you. It's got a fantastic series of tracking metrics for everything you need as you are growing your business. Helps someone like us figure out how to do the basics, like getting a t-shirt out to people. But if you've got more complex carts and online offerings and services as well, they can help you with all of that. It's the not so secret. They're behind a ton of known brands, Aloe, Allbirds, and Skims, for example, all successful businesses using Shopify. We've used them, and it is a great way to grow your business no matter what size you're at. Whatever platform you're using, you can integrate that successfully as well on all your socials, on all your places that you want people to be shopping with you. And I always shout it out, but the Shop app in particular, just used it today for multiple things from multiple stores that I'm regularly tracking coming my way. Very handy, and being able to integrate whatever you're selling into that is very useful as well. You can upgrade your business and get the same checkout that we use. Go to shopify.com/superbeast to upgrade your selling today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/superbeast, all lowercase. So once again, that's shopify.com/superbeast. Thank you, Shopify.
Thanks, Shopify.
This week, the podcast is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Don't raw dog the internet. Don't do it.
It might give you a thrill, but that thrill will bite you when you get sick on your computer.
It might not even be the next morning. It might be that same night. Because it works fast,
Yeah, man, you get sick real fast on that computer, man.
If you ever heard of a data broker, a data broker is a middleman that collects and sells.
That's different. A data broker is different.
Data broker. A data broker is a middleman that collects and sells all your financial footprints, all your data, all your digital footprints, everything you leave online. They can stitch it together for a detailed profile that includes your searches, browsing history, location data, everything about you. And yeah, they sell that profile off to companies that want to deliver a targeted ad to you. So you'd be surprised, but they are also not just selling that to advertisers, but they are selling that information to apparently the Department of Homeland Security and the IRS. Wow, that's crazy. Thank you for the heads up there. The Yeah. Let's see here. I don't want the tax man showing up at my door because of some search I did on my phone.
Man, I don't like that.
Okay. All right, copy. I see what you're doing here. All right. Yeah. Don't tread on me or my data. No, that's not what that says. I protect myself with ExpressVPN. That's what that says there. Okay. we I'll say, hey, data profile selling and processing is theft. Right?
Yeah.
There you go. Don't do
It
that.
is.
Anyway, one of the ways that they do it, of course, is through your IP address, which is unique to you, and it reveals information about your location. So ExpressVPN can hide your IP address and makes it so that it's much more difficult for data brokers to monitor, track, and monetize your privacy online. It encrypts 100% of your network traffic. ExpressVPN keeps your data safe from hackers, even when you're on public Wi-Fi. And it works on all your devices, your phone, your laptop, your tablet, everything. Just you can name it. Tap it, one button, you're protected, and go. It's that easy. I used it multiple times this week as there were...
Dude, ExpressVPN. I love it.
Yeah, it is. I am constantly tapping that button, watching a video, tapping it off. There's a lot of American videos that Canada is not supposed to see, and I'm like, nah, though.
Nah, I'm gonna do it. You can't stop me. Thanks, ExpressVPN.
Protect your online privacy today by visiting expressvpn.com/superbeast. That's expressvpn.com/superbeast. And you can get an extra 4 months for free. expressvpn.com/superbeast.
Thanks, ExpressVPN.
Thank you. And lastly, this week, the podcast is sponsored by HelloFresh.
Oh, man. The HelloFresh ad reads are rough because, like, I always have like a piece of toast right before coming to the podcast. It's like I should probably have had a real meal.
I mean, look,
Probably.
you know, it doesn't help that we started this out talking about how, like, games that we play have food porn in them, and then we transition right over into telling you about delicious meals you can get. But
I mean, when you got a HelloFresh box, you're opening up a box of food porn.
it's delicious stuff. But what's cool about that is that it's also healthy for you. You can get yourself, you know, whatever your schedule is like. HelloFresh can help you save time on that. It's easy to find time to eat well. They got 50 wholesome, hassle-free meals you can choose from each week, delivered to your door. You don't have to figure out what's going on or what to make for dinner or what to prepare. All of that is ready-made from the go. They have pre-proportioned ingredients. They've got meals you can eat and that are ready to eat in just 3 minutes as well. High-quality ingredients, restaurant-worthy food you'd expect from HelloFresh, but with none of the work. So even then, you've got options. Prep and bake meals are minimal mess. Takes 5 minutes of prep. Your oven does most of the work, not you. They've got the 15-minute meals, 3 simple steps so you can eat better all year without the hassle. You have a ton of options. And yeah, all of these are available, delivered straight to your door. You don't have to waste time with the grocery trip. You don't have to waste money on the grocery trip. They've even got add-on items as well, like if you're looking for a quick breakfast, packable snacks, beverages, and more. You can customize all of that. So be sure to get in there. I recommend the chicken pesto. It's a classic. And yeah, get up to 10 free meals and free high protein item and a free high protein item for life at hellofresh.com/HelloFreshPodcast. One item per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's up to 10 free HelloFresh meals. Go to hellofresh.com/HelloFreshPodcast. That's America's #1 meal kit. Thank you, HelloFresh.
Thanks, HelloFresh.
Mouth words. Hard tired.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Here's a mouth word for you. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Something I left out of the Monster Hunter discussion.
Mm-hmm.
At some point in that game's story, an element of that story becomes a concept known as Wyvern milk.
Nice.
And they keep saying it a lot.
Nice. Good. I like
and
that.
And every time they say it, you're like, ugh.
Yeah. Of course. No. If these are the animals, then why wouldn't we milk them?
So no, that's not what it is at all. It's a totally different thing. Just happens to be called Wyvern milk.
Oh, it's for baiting wyverns? It's the other way around? No? Okay.
I'm not going to go into it. But they talk about it a lot, and every time they talk about it, it hits your ear like, ugh.
Because I'm all on board with the idea of like fictional milk from the world of the thing.
I'm just gonna tell you, man. It's cum. It looks like cum. It gets on the monsters and it looks like cum.
Awesome.
And they power up by eating it.
Oh, they get powerful.
It's a whole fucking thing. It's cum. It's so fucking weird.
Good.
They're like, oh, that guy got into the cum. He's stronger now. And you're like, Jesus Christ.
I like it. Good.
It's fucking weird. It's super fucking weird.
I like how Luke Skywalker's drinking that fucking green alien milk or whatever.
It sits in little pools on the floor, and the monsters go and lap it up, and it's piles of cum. Mm-hmm. It's fucking weird.
I'm sure there's Pokemon milk. There's got to be Pokemon milk out there. Someone's milking some Pokemons.
I mean, if you type in Pokemon milk right now, I'm sure you'll get search results, but I don't think it's going to be what you're looking for.
Well, for sure, there's that.
No, it'll be what you're looking for.
No. There's a Miltank, right? Miltank has for sure. You can just Miltank it up.
I'm getting out of here.
Miltank is a cow Pokemon.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Yep.
All right. Well. Okay. Did you want to hit up your schedule?
First, I want to talk about Expedition 33.
Ooh.
So they sent out they sent out preview codes for that, and it's a proper preview code. Like you motherfuckers don't get to play this, haha.
Claire Obscure.
I mean, you can. Well, you can just ask for one, but
this thing looked so fucking cool from that trailer. It looked so French and so cool.
Okay, so
and those are not mutually exclusive details.
I have good news for you from my exclusive details.
Mm-hmm.
One, it's so cool.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
It's so cool.
You can tell.
It is using a Mario RPG like battle system where it's like enemies attack you and you parry them or you dodge them with timed button presses.
Hell yes.
You have Legend of Dragoon style QTEs on all your skills.
Wait, turn-based RPGing?
Yep.
Interesting.
I beat a boss in that preview content that was like a dozen levels higher than me that would one-shot me every single time it hit me because I learned its parry timing. And I just parried every single attack for 10 minutes and killed it.
Love it.
And then got like 5 levels off of it and fucked up the rest of the preview content.
Turn-based RPG with little mini games. Fuck yes.
It's great. It's great.
I mean, Mario RPG
also.
But like some of the diversity of mini games in like Thousand Year Door and or even just hitting that circle in Lost Odyssey, you know, like hell yes.
So there's a bunch of different types of QTEs. You have to jump over attacks, you have to parry. It's great. It's awesome. It is also the Frenchest game.
Yeah, it is. Baguettes and striped shirts.
So you joke. So that's a DLC, right?
Yeah.
But if you play the preview, there's a hidden super boss that is literally a demon mime. And it uses mime attacks on you.
Let's go.
And when you beat it, you unlock the ability to dress up the main character in the striped shirt with the baguette shit.
Let's fucking
go.
go.
If you watch anybody's Expedition 33 footage, make a note of who's using the striped shirt and baguette, because those people beat a boss that other people did not.
Does the music sound like Amélie?
There's fucking accordions when you fight them.
Let's go. Yes.
It's Charlie Cox as your main character, doing his regular ass Britishy accent, but it's aggressively French. Like, his favorite swear word is putain.
Yes.
There's a lot of merde
In English.
Oh yeah,
Nice. Beautiful.
in British accented English. A lot of the little monsters talk with little French accents.
Merde.
I don't know how to describe it other than the dialogue is French. You can tell. You can tell it's very French. Mm-hmm. The characters are suffering from ennui.
Of course they are.
It's crazy.
It's the world of Victor Chevalier.
Yeah. Expedition 33 is to France the way Stalker is to Ukraine.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Right? Just like, you touch it and you're like, oh, wow. Oh, I can taste the culture through the screen.
Zut alors.
Yeah. I said Zut alors Goku a couple times and people didn't understand what the fuck I was talking about, but I knew someone laughed.
Yes, no, because the Dragon Ball manga we got here in Quebec was the French Dragon Ball translation. So there'd be like Frieza going Zut alors, and the sound effects were the onomatopoeia were also French. Tac, paf, massacrez, écrasez-les.
Yeah, it was great.
Putain.
But that Expedition 33 game is going to be really good.
Nice. I did not know.
Really good.
I didn't know it was a turn-based RPG. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, that's the best part.
That's super sick.
Because you watch the footage, it doesn't look like a fucking turn-based RPG.
In fact, I kind of was like, oh, it's gonna be a little automata, action-y 3D thing.
Nah, man, this is a JRPG. It's an FRPG.
Because AAA game 2025 is that, right? It's 3D action.
Yeah.
Lost Soul aside, and that other game that was announced at the Game Awards,
the round table one,
where you're like, look at these beautiful boss fights with dodges and monsters and great designs. Yeah, it's cool, but it's just, this is video game current year. You know?
So there's like, it's its base is FF10, but with like action commands. Like, that's what that game is. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Like, it has the turn order at the top left of the screen. And it looks like the FF10 turn order.
Yes, I was talking about Tides of Annihilation. How long was this demo?
3 hours. Okay. It was quite long. It was pretty juicy. So I got a real good look at it. You can check that out. I put it up on the YouTube, on the Pat Stairs at YouTube. You can go look at that shit.
When's the release date?
April 24th.
Oh shit, that's way sooner than I thought. Huh.
So it's a shame because the previews went out on March 3rd, which is like, you get it? Because it's like 33.
Expedition 33.
I bet they wish they could have gotten that release date, but it was not to be.
Yeah. Okay.
And that was it for me this week. If you want to see more of my stupid shit, go down to twitch.tv/PatStaresAt. We're going to be back to Pirate Yakuza. And on Thursday, I would advise you, fellow hunters, to get your Switches out because I'm going to be playing Monster Hunter GU on Thursday with chat. Go back to the old shit for comparison.
I wonder if an English producer went, you can't just call this game Clair Obscur. That's not gonna, people's brains will auto delete this word, these words in English. You have to put something in there.
I feel like it's the complete opposite.
Yeah.
I feel like it was called Expedition 33 and they're like, no, it's it
could be.
Si je ne sais quoi.
But the thing is, if it was
il y a besoin plus de francophones si.
But if it was Expedition 33, peut-être c'est différent. C'est pas la même chose. Yeah.
I definitely believe they wanted to fucking French it up further from their normal title.
Put a little accent.
But Expedition 33 being the game's subtitle is really funny. because that's what everyone's going to call the game. Also,
Yes,
there's a 33
yes.
on screen at almost all times.
Well, because that's the thing is like I saw Expedition 33 pop up way more than I saw people write out Clair Obscur.
Yeah, no one's going to use that. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I'm going to LP that. I'm going to play that. I'm going to stream that. That's going to be great.
Nice. Yeah.
What's up with you, man? How's your week been?
Pretty cool. Had a couple things I was able to get up to. The first of which was a board game that I'd been eyeballing for a little bit. So, there's a game called Alice is Missing, and it sounded pretty interesting. As it was I kind of first heard about this. Sir Meow told me about it. It's a like card game that you play entirely with your phone with other people in the room via
this is the perfect Gen Z game.
Oh, it sure is. Right? So Fox.
Is it my turn in Monopoly yet?
So not exactly that. It's interesting though. So Foxcade is in town as well. So basically, went to go hang with them, and we did a little round of this game, 5 players. And the main detail about this, because I got a copy as well, because it sounded really interesting, and it was like it's a cool thing, but you can only really play this once.
Oh.
And you can show it to other people, but like it's not something that you can really redo multiple times because of how particular its kind of narrative is. And what it is essentially a game where it is part card and role play. It is part like you are playing these. You're each the role of a character. Alice is a teenager who lives in this town of Silent Falls, right? And she goes.
All right.
And Alice is a teenager, and she goes missing. And the 5 people playing the game, you each are someone in her life. You're either, her older brother, or her best friend, or her secret girlfriend, or one of multiple people in her life. And you take on that role. And you each, once you have that, the people in the room, you are basically going to be playing and communicating via texting each other only. So shooting, you can play it via like that, or just jump in a Discord, but you only chat. You don't talk out loud. And the game lasts exactly 90 minutes.
Okay.
The way you play it is there's a video that you load up on a TV, and it is a 90-minute countdown, and you click play and begin the game, and there's a timer that is going down. So the whole time you're in the room, it's playing, there's music, and it's got the timer, and you've each drawn cards that are meant to be played at certain number of minutes, counting down the 90. So you get to, like 5 minutes in, one of the cards, or 10 minutes in, one of the cards I've drawn is to be played at the 80-minute mark. And it is an event that occurs. Something is, something that we discover about about Alice, like some detail. Excuse me, I just muted. I was coughing. And then what you're kind of doing is, at that point, the card will tell you to draw one of these suspicious NPCs in the town, draw a suspicious location, perhaps go to it and do a search, or perhaps just tell everybody about what's going on. But you are putting these pieces together and getting a clue as to someone that might be, the culprit, or someone that might be suspicious, or whatever's going on. You also, each character has their own elements that they have a different relationship with Alice. They have different relationships with each other that you have to kind of play off of, and you have to kind of create 1 or 2 secrets that only you and Alice have with each other. So the Alice that's kind of created for your game is unique to the people that are playing that round. It's a very interesting because it's not exactly a board game in that way, you know. It's like it's not just playing cards and pieces. It's the kind of communication element is a big part of it. And to that end, I would say that like the role playing is also a big part of it. You know, you essentially are like looking at it and going, okay, my role as the older brother, for example, was to I'm very protective of the best friend, but I'm extremely suspicious of the secret girlfriend. And
I would be suspicious of the secret girlfriend also.
Right.
I'm just going to tell you that right now.
Sure. And then, you know, it kind of asks you, okay, like you had a big fight right before Alice went missing. What was it about? And that's a detail that only you have, you know? And so there's these things that are like, you know, suspicious details that can be on other people or on yourself. And you can kind of like, you know, work those things together with any other relationship like issues that they might have. And in the end, there's one of those bits where I'm like in it. So there's that part of it. And then there's also like, even though it's my sister that's missing, I'm kind of the goofball that's not going to take it seriously. And so like people are like, what the fuck, dude? Relax. Like it's your sister. And you're kind of like, you know, you're afraid of the reality of things. So you're the first one to crack a joke, to toss an emoji in there, to do whatever, you know? And so you kind of have this sort of, I guess, back and forth, and then you get to a certain time point, and then another escalation point happens until you get all the way down to the final one, you know? Based on the cards you pull and or what pops up, you yourself, your character can die. You can get, things can happen to you. And again, the only way to communicate is via text. So sometimes, you know, like messages are incomplete or there's missing information and stuff, and the rest of the players have to kind of figure it out without you. It's a really interesting, you know, unique experience of a board game. It's also like, you know, obviously it's the type of thing where as everyone's playing and as multiple things can go wrong, this can get super real as well. You know, some of there's some of the locations in town can involve like, you know, the old mall, that empty barn up the you know, up the hill. And there can be like the creepy history teacher, that weird person that lives in town that nobody really knows, the popular kids, the bully, you know, all these people are kind of like floating around as well. And like, you know, at some points you can get calls from them or rather like get information from them and then have to like break that out to the group. But like, who do you share it with back and forth and stuff is part of it as well. It is definitely got little elements where, you know, now that I've seen it, I can say I'm like, okay, so one, the location of Silent Falls. Two, at one point there is like a card that's like the best friend has a buried locket that went missing. Who saw the locket go missing? And you're like, oh, we're just doing Twin Peaks here, right?
Yeah.
There's big
100%.
Exactly. So big Twin Peaks vibes to the game as well. And big, I'd say Twin Peaks, what I said before, and Life is Strange too, you know, is part of it as well. But it is kind of like it's the fact that the game is on an active timer means you have an active time battle board game feeling to things. You know, you could only communicate so much in so much time, and while you're in the middle of trying to convey some information or something, someone else might pick up a card up and play it and be like, never mind that shit. We got a call from the lighthouse. Something's going on over there. It's muffled screams. What's going on? Someone can go investigate. And then if you go investigate, no one can be in the same place at the same time. So there can never be any like, you know, reason for you to be able to like exchange information directly. It has to be, you know, either in this like group text or via DMs and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Let me ask you a question. This has been a relatively complex explanation. Do you feel that this game was very complicated to explain how to play for something you can only play for 90 minutes one time?
I think the complexity is more just me describing like the variations of what's going on. It's not that complex once it's actually rolling out and happening. I think the fact that like narratively, I think you can play it with other people that are having their first time. I think if you and the same group of friends play it, it might be like, yeah, something that won't be as effective necessarily on repeats. You know, you can, I suppose, but the RPing is part of it, right? To me, I like the kind of randomized gaming element of it. So there is a bit of you know, that I guess your rogue type quality of like, you know, it's going to be different each time, but what it's doing is unique enough that I feel like it's like, that's pretty cool though. You know, it's worth experiencing, I think, with some friends if this sounds interesting to you. You know, if you're into different kinds of board games or not into board games at all, then, you know, the appeal might be different. But if you do like the aspect of role playing and kind of creating character and having a customized experience, if you thought that Dialect, that game I talked about, which is like about creating a language, if you thought that sounded cool, you might also think this kind of sounds. You might also like this, is what I would say. It's not for everybody. It's not for anyone who's looking for necessarily a game of Risk, you know, which is like, here are the rules, here's what we're going to play, we're going to go hard, and that's it. This is a bit of a, you know, like a back and forth with the group of people you're playing with, and, you know, like you might get the role of, again, you're helpful or you're an asshole or whatever the case is, and if your job is to be standoffish but you're not good at playing the role of that person, it might be less effective, you know, as far as that game goes. So, you know, I kind of feel like I've played good and bad games of Secret Hitler, for example. It all depends on the crew you're with.
Yeah.
But as far as a like Gen Alpha ass, everyone in the room is going to sit in front of a YouTube video and heads down in your phone for 90 minutes and just go. Like, that is the most like, yes, that is premium Gen Alpha gaming experience right there. But I think it's interesting. So yeah, that was fun. I would say, yes, to go back on the only play it once bit, I guess let me elaborate on that, because I can see like that would be like a major sticking point. You can play it another time, but I would definitely think that it mainly, like, you want to have new people each time experiencing it. It wouldn't be like, you know, you and the same group of friends playing Catan for the 80th time, you know, doing the same old thing. So, you are working together to solve what happened. There's a chance based on what you draw or based on, you know, sort of the random way the cards come together that you may or may not be able to solve it. You know, there's bad endings, there's all kinds of variations to it, and how you particularly play and what you draw from the decks as well kind of create the narrative. But in the end, you are ultimately trying to cooperate to solve what's happening. So
what happens if you don't solve it?
Well,
and you can't play it again? Well,
you can play it again, but for example, what happened in our game was Sir Meow ended up finding her, but he found her body, and then he got ambushed by one of the people that was suspicious from before that we couldn't find, and then
I see.
got cut off mid-text before he couldn't talk anymore. You know, there was like a whole particular way that our way played out. Some of the details and cards and stuff as well get pretty gory and pretty nutso and graphic as well. So it's kind of like there's a lot of bad that can happen, you know, in to you and or to your Alice. So anyway, yeah, played that. Had a unique and pretty fun time with that. Check it out if that sounds something like it's up your alley. Alice is Missing is what it's called.
Interesting.
The other thing I did was I got to so me, Fox, and my buddy Josh went and checked out the GQuuuuuX, the new Gundam movie.
I can't believe it's fucking called GQuuuuuX.
Yep.
Like, I don't know how they think it's supposed to be fucking pronounced, but it reads like GQuuuuuX.
The most ungoogleable name in Gundam history. And believe it or not, of course, there is a reason why it's called GQuuuuuuX.
I mean, I could fathom a guess, but it's based off of its pronunciation, not its name.
Well, it's more about the spelling, isn't it? Because it's
a little bit.
It's spelled GQuuuuuuuuuuuux. So, you know. Oh God! I mean, tell you what, like you see it and your brain goes, "What?" You remember that as a like, "What the fuck am I looking at? What is the title of this thing? What is Gundam doing?"
Yeah.
But then, good luck remembering how many U's are in there. You know. GQuuuuuuX even. Sure. All right.
Whatever you say, man.
Okay, so this was basically a movie that is the summary of the first 4 episodes of the anime that's going to be starting, that has not started yet. And
that's a strange way to fucking do that.
Yeah. It's happened before. There's been, there's like times where you'll just do like the intro to a series as a movie, and then you can go, and then the rest will bleed out. The pedigree behind it is, when they announced this, was wildly interesting because it's written by Hideaki Anno,
right,
of Evangelion fame.
Mm-hmm.
It's got mech designs from the Eva designer as well, Ikuto Yamashita. It's got character designs from the Pokemon character designer.
Okay.
And it's also got FLCL, Furikuri, and Die Buster director Kazuya Tsurumaki as well, who also did Eva stuff too. So
it's like an all-star team.
Yes.
So how is it?
It is a wild ride. It is not what I expected, and I have to explain where my expectations were with this going in, and then how insanely different the result turned out. I did enjoy it, but it's kind of like caveated in the same way you were talking about Monster Hunter, where there's 2 things happening. Holy shit. So for starters, all I saw of it was sort of those names associated working on a new Gundam series. And then I saw the designs, and the designs are pretty extreme as well, because there's basically just like Eva unit proportioned Gundam like designs happening. They just went, yeah, take a humanoid like Eva body in that style of proportion and those lines, and then stick the fucking head on it, put the V fin there. And not all of them are like that, but some of them are pretty exaggerated. And then other things are kind of remixes of older suits and Zaku's and everything. I feel like there's... So, okay, the setting... I'm just going to go full spoilers on this movie. If you're interested in GQuuuuuuX, the beginning, it's cool, but it's weird and crazy. Check that out. But I'm just going to tell you what happens in the first 4 episodes and shit.
All right.
So
let's hear it.
So
who's getting G-cooked?
If you watch, I suppose, promotional material and trailers, and if you go into this kind of knowing what to expect, you'd probably see a lot of these characters that are kind of, Pokemon proportioned, bunch of kids doing, having adventures and all that. And I saw none of this. So I didn't know what I was going into, except for just the names involved. And you sit down, and what you get is the beginning of 0079. The original Gundam series is just playing out, and it is like, almost shot for shot at points.
Oh, that's fucking weird.
The quality is obviously, much better because it's a current movie and stuff, but like it's just doing 1 Year War from the jump. But what happens immediately in episode 1 is, instead of Amuro running and jumping in the Gundam, it rising and him having his first victory, Char jumps in the Gundam first and it gets up, and you just immediately get to watch as what would happen if Char got in the Gundam. It's the most
So
OP.
Amuro is the G-Cuck then.
There is no Amuro. Char shows up, jumps in the RX-78 effectively, but it's the version from this setting, and just steamrolls the war. Like, it's so busted, it's not even funny. It's insane. You know, he gets it, he goes, wow, this thing's pretty cool. All right, we're taking it. And the white base, that's coming back with us. Because, yeah, let's go. They steal the base, they steal the fucking Gundam. And he's like, good shit. Paint it red. Let's go. And just takes it, sticks a couple funnels on, and annihilates the 1 year war.
All right.
It begins with the setting of the stalemate or what? Not. The war is over. Zeon wins. It's done.
Oh no.
Right? Cooks them. And you get to just watch this alternate timeline of like, there was no chance Char got the Gundam. The thing that should never have happened.
That's really interesting, actually.
Yeah, he speed runs the whole campaign. And like, you know, they're dropping names of like various zombies and you know, the relationships are there and everything. But you're following this alternate timeline just going like, well, there's nothing that can stop him. There's literally, you know, and like and there's a point where the giant Zeon base is basically going to at one point you basically introduce you know, Cassilia, the evil lady. Like, she's there right away, and you know that Char has it out for her because she's the one who gets fucking bazookaed in the original, and it's
I love that.
It's the rawest shot in the world. And so you know he has it out for her, but like he can't make his play too quickly. So the Earth, the Federation, is basically like, yeah, we're fucking cooked. This is done. This sucks. We're gonna go out basically doing the same shit that Zeon does, and we're gonna do our colony drop on the lunar base. You know?
Oh man, really?
So they're just like, yeah, we're doing.
Is that their one move?
Fuck it. You didn't win. It's like, yeah, no, we did. Like, the way he smokes the entire alliance is insane, and they're basically just like, yeah, fuck it, we're dropping it. And so you're watching this, and you're watching it again with like it's like, you know, kind of update, like, faithful to the old shots, faithful to the old music, old sound effects and stuff, but just an alternate reality series. And he goes to make his play where it's like, okay, there's the you know, like, who can stop this colony drop? Essentially, Char and the boys can, right? We got a plan. Let's figure it out. And then he's like, okay, but can I use this as an opportunity to fucking get her ass and blow up Cassilia in one shot? Because that'd be pretty hype. And starts running that ploy, and goes into the mission, has everything succeed, and then essentially an unknown event occurs where he slips into new type space, you know, with the colors and the noises and the right, but essentially like an event horizon of new type energy explosion goes off, and he and the Gundam disappear, and nobody knows what the fuck happened. And this super crazy, like, believable alt timeline then just cuts to your title. This is like maybe an hour in, and then we cut to a future in this world where Zeon won the war, and we're going into we're fast forwarding to 0085 in post Zeon victory world.
Oh, okay. How is it?
the art style changes to the Pokemon characters, and we got to hang out with this new girl, and she's cute, and she's running into this other girl, and Harrow's around, and a bunch of kids are gonna have these tournament battles with their Junker Zakus, and it's cool, it's fine, it's all right. It's just not the same thing as that intro.
That's super fucking weird.
It's
you just
crazy.
One of the weirdest fucking things I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, and you know, there's even like a little almost like a Yuri moment where I'm like, oh, are they doing like G-Witch kind of like energy with that because that was a big success? I don't know, but these characters are hanging out, and their whole thing is Zeon wins. They end up selling a bunch of their suits to like civilians because whatever. It becomes this thing where Zeon is now the Empire, but there's still free. There's still neutral colonies and stuff, and you basically get within that. There's these tournaments that are like build fighters where people like kind of like people are jumping in their little garage mobile suits and taking them into these pirate environments to have junker battles, you know, for cash and for fame and for tournament purposes. And it's a bunch of kids that are like doing that essentially.
Wooly, you're describing like WoW cool robot made manifest.
Yes. It's nuts. It's so weird. And for me, I think people going in that might have seen the promotional material and stuff might have known that that's the main series. I didn't know that was coming. So I'm like, we're watching Alt 1 Year War, like Char in the Gundam just killing it. This is crazy. And it's like, no, that's just the intro setup to this
That's
alternate
so
reality.
Weird.
Right? And so you have, you know, and so there's one of these things too where one of the leaks that had come out beforehand was like, okay, besides the whole Anno involvement and Ava stuff going on, there's a detail here which is, yeah, the setting is not anything we've recognized. It's literally alt reality.
Yeah, no shit.
What if Zeon won the war? What if the Nazis won? Right? Man in the High Castle type shit. And it was like, is that supposed to be a like spin that you find out, you know, like 20 episodes in or something? And it's like, no.
You get to watch it happen.
You watch it happen from the jump, you know? But it is something where I'm like, okay, in this new now, like, yeah, real steel ass, like much lower stakes kids in tournaments environment, I don't know where it's gonna go, but like, you know, the characters are fine. The main GQuuuuuuX design, I'm not a fan of. I kind of just don't like some of the shapes on it. But
I forgot, and you just hit me with it, and it just fucking just sniped my ass, dude.
Yeah, but I do like their take on the RX-78, especially when you add the funnels and you know, go all char colored. It's pretty sick. But it is one of these things where like, okay, that's all happening, but you're kind of seeing like, oh, what does a Zeon run or specific, you know, or a Zabi run, I should say, universe kind of look like? And you're like, oh, there's like, of course, it doesn't mean any freedom for space noids. It doesn't necessarily mean, you know,
of course not.
You know, it's like,
all a lie.
Yeah, fuck that shit, right? It was corrupt from the jump. Well, not from the jump, but from the Zabi takeover. So you're like, all right, you get to see the like, you know, immediately the second class citizens in these like neutral states or on the sides that are colonies that are out there, and then suddenly, like, after trying to track it down for a while, like some of the old characters that are now jumping into this new setting, fast forward, are like, whatever happened to Char? Where is he? What happened to the Gundam? We don't know. And then suddenly the Gundam shows up again and is wrecking shit and going nuts and
causing problems.
And we're trying to track down, oh, is he there? What's going on? But he's not there. It's a new pilot. It's some weird kid who's kind of spacey and aloof, and we're kind of like, okay, what happened to all that or origin shit, right? And so it feels like there's a bait and switch, and the switch is into a completely different energy that is still fine, but if you're a a fan of the original and you're like, or you just want to know like what happened to Char, what happened to the 1 year war in this alt reality and whatever, they can hold that. And
where's Quattro Vagina at, man?
They can hold the where is Quattro Vagina, carrot on that stick to the end of that series if they wanted to. And I have my guesses. I suspect he's no longer around, but
you think this new kid is him and Amuro's like gay love baby?
No, I think that Char.
That's what I'm going with.
I think Char probably wound up being inside the Gundam or like fused with it in some way, because it gives off energy and voice. It's I don't know. I'm expecting. I think his brain is in the. I think Char's brain is in the Gundam. Is what's happening.
I hope not. That sounds stupid.
Well, it might be an Ava. It might be an Ava thing. It would be very, very Anno to put the character's soul inside of the robot. So far, besides that, though, yeah, no other. I mean, okay, so like there's kind of those initial characters we talk about, and one of the old characters from the original series who was just like a quick standby dude ends up being in the new time jump, but no Amuro, no Camille, no anyone else in alternate timeline, at least yet so far. So who the fuck knows? And also when they show up, they're gonna look Pokemonized, which is gonna be kind of wild if they ever do. That's
so strange. That's such a specific. The art style changing 2 episodes in is so fucking fucked.
It's so weird. But it's just, and again, it's like, if you want that, because it's G Gundam style, like 1v1 or 2v2, it's 2v2s, but it's G Gundam style like tournament shit happening, and Build Fighters was also cool with that. Like it's like what's happening is fine. It's just the most completely different energy ever from the premise, and I guess. The characters are the kids are all right. The characters are fine, and they're gonna sell their toys. But
right.
I can tell that anytime if your eyes start to wander, they can just kind of be like 0079 hey, say a sentence or two, drop a name, say Dozel, say Abaoku, and then have you go whoa, what's going on, because one of those things that, like, people who follow Gundam pretty religiously know is that, like, the 1 year war is, like, there is always another 1 year war story. There are 365.
No, it was a 1 year war, but it was a million stories.
There are 365 days in that year, and there are 365 different stories you can tell.
Did you know that the engineering team that put the big Zam together actually had a really deep narrative in the background? Did you know? And so
by starting that way, but then like ripping it into this is not UC, this is fucking CU, this is backwards, this is upside down shit, means that like you can play with it in an interesting way that doesn't have to like follow any prescriptive beginnings or endings. So my hope is that they properly give this new setting its time to shine, but spend the right amount of time getting into like what Xeon Run timeline looks like. And
I gotta say, man, I'm at this point where like hopping on a new show like this, unless I know it's gonna be a slam dunk for sure, I'm probably gonna have to wait for this to finish a full season out. Because, like, I don't want a Darling in the Franxx situation.
Well, I will say, I mean, Anno has some shit up his sleeve, I'm sure. We'll see where it goes. But having him jump over onto Godzilla and do some crazy shit, and then he jumped onto Kamen Rider and he did some crazy shit, like, I feel like he's doing it here. He's doing all of his childhood. He's doing the tour.
Yeah.
And he's doing fucking insane batshit directing and writing with all of his favorites. So I'm curious to see where this goes.
I'm also curious. I'm more curious to see how it is received. Like by you, essentially. Like in 25 weeks, tell me if I should watch it.
I think like also by pedigree, like Hideaki Anno and this staff get a lot of leeway on you know, like you can start a Gundam series and kind of like a few episodes in kind of be like, yeah, I'm out, right?
Yeah, you totally. It's very easy. Not this one. This one's two different ones, I guess, but still.
But so exactly, and so here you're like, you're gonna give these names a little bit more leeway. You get a lot more benefit of the doubt knowing that fucking Furikuri Diebuster shit is happening in the background.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, even though I don't really like pay much attention to like the newer Pokemon stuff, I do like that art style. I think it's
it looks much better.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's very cool. And there's even parts of it where I would say the way the colors look on the characters and designs and stuff is there's some really nice bright
I watched some
pastels.
clips while you were talking. It pops. I like it.
It's colors like Promare has colors. You know, so that's also a really nice thing that it's doing. But just a wild ass like.
That's not what I thought you were going to tell me at all. That's the last
start.
thing I expected you to tell me.
Yeah, and here's what I'll say for sure. Just out of curiosity, even if you say didn't like where it went or whatever, that first bit of like Char stealing the Gundam and just
that's a crazy idea.
Just wrecking the war is awesome. Well, it is just it's crazy.
It excites the brain with what if. Like, hey, what if Camille never heard some cop say that Camille is a girl's name? Like how? And he had some fucking complete meltdown. Or like what would have happened?
Or just like or just take any like setting and go like, what if the hero wasn't there and the villain just fucking got it? You know, what if there was no Jonathan and Dio just ran with it all the way?
Yeah, what if the Joestars just didn't exist and or you know, Jonathan died and Jonathan was like, oh yeah, I got the mask. Oh, sick ass. It's cool, vampire now.
Vampire man. Like that's forever. It. You know?
Vampire forever.
Yeah, I don't know. But like it is in this case, the fact that it's Sue again, like you know what Char's true intentions are and stuff. Like it's just he starts when Char gets in the Gundam.
Oh, hey man, I hate to bring it here, but I have to take a break. That dog has definitely got to go out.
BRB. I was about to say that yes. So in this series, when Char gets in the Gundam, like he's in a world that's taking place in 0079, and everyone is in 0079 space and like speed, and he's moving like a G Gundam character. Like it's like he's in turn A. Like he's just
like he has shown up from a different dimension.
So it's that thing where later Gundam series had that thing where like looking around, where did it go? Is like it's become like it's like they're teleporting around space type of shit. He's doing that and saying like, "What the? Oh my god!" you know, and you're it's just busted. It's just busted. It's great. The character is stuck in 1978. You know, while a character from 2025 is styling on him. So it's I'm curious to see, at the very least, not just what Anno has up his sleeve, but I'm curious to see what you know becomes of this obvious. Like obviously the Zabi family is going to tear each other apart, and
they're jerks.
Given free reign to rule over everything. What comes of, you know, fucking Dozel and Giran and everybody just once they're trying to cannibalize everyone in this like actual Space Noid rule, you know. So yeah, GQuuuuuX has an interesting premise so far.
Can't believe that's the name.
So the reason why it's called GQuuuuuuX.
Oh, is there a reason in it?
There is a reason that's stated. Yeah. And
what's the reason?
Because the person who jumps in and sees the project name is looking at a placeholder name. And the letters are just filler for a placeholder that has not been filled out to completion yet.
Well, that's stupid as fuck.
Yeah, it's like a placeholder project name. That's it. You know, it's XY local singles. You know?
Someone in the chat says GQuack. It's fucking GQuacks. I don't know if you have better eyes than me, but it definitely doesn't have a in there. Sounds like it's written GQuuuuuX to me.
So it's the difference between what your eyes are reading and what the Japanese voice actors are trying to say. GQuuuuuX. You know, so yes.
Sounds like they're reading letters that ain't there.
Yeah, but it's the U's would be like underscores or like stars in like a project.
Even more of a reason to think it's GQuuuuuuX.
It's GQuuuuuX. It's GQuuuuuuX.
It's been asteriskized for censorship reasons.
You know, Gatsu and Shimon would like to have a word. Anyway, yeah, fun stuff there. Okay, only other little bits are I have been moving through Metaphor, and I just got to 925, which is the day after shit goes down. And without spoiling, I will say that I'm very pleased with how the story is progressing. I'm very pleased with the escalation of events. And I am very pleased with the party. I love everyone.
So last time we spoke about the party, I described you as meeting the party member from Virga Islands. And you threw me for an absolute loop, real hard.
Because when I said I just got to the island, you might be misremembering how long it takes before the island party member joins you. But you have to go through the whole beginning part and then the dungeon, and then afterwards they join you.
You're probably right. What I'm thinking of is like they're visible on the box.
Yeah, I mean,
like, right.
There was I saw the Steam artwork when you load the game up has a bunch of
box art.
Yeah, so I saw some characters, but I didn't stare too hard at it, you know. But.
Yeah, I really didn't stare too hard at the Steam art. Because there's a party member I was actually legit surprised by coming into the gang, despite them being front and center right there.
It is funny that, yeah. So, well, for one, yeah, 9/11 is actually a significant date.
I wanted to talk about that really bad when I was playing the game, but I knew you were far away and everybody was playing the game, and I was like fairly advanced compared to the. I think it took huge balls to have Metaphor's 9/11 take place on 9/11.
On 9/11, I mean, there's no way that's just coincidental, right?
Well, considering the events that occur on it, I think it's definitely just a big coincidence. Definitely just a big coincidence.
Indeed. But more to the point, 9/23. Big shit poppin'. I love, though, how this game is doing the same thing that the Persona games have geared me up for and trained me for, which is like, prepare to overcome your final challenges. And I'm like, bitch, there are S-links I have not met yet. There are question mark S-links on this friend list I have not met yet. There are people who I have not maxed out because you've blocked me from being able to do so. Don't even fuck with me. Why you lying? Why you stay lying?
I'm double checking right now.
Always lying.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, there it is. That's what you're talking about, 925. Okay. Okay.
So, yeah, I just think in general, I really like this party. Everyone is great. I feel yeah, like no stinkers, you know?
Can I pat myself on the back for just a second?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know how I love to throw Hail Marys out all the time when I'm playing a video game because I think it's fun?
Mm-hmm.
I am so glad I streamed this and did the preview event because I called 925 within like an hour of starting the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, down to hyper specific details.
It's pretty telegraphed in some ways, but not.
And I was like,
yeah, it's telegraphed in quite a few ways. I would say that's a decent call out, but it's pointing it out. I think something interesting I like about it so far too as well is that Luis as a villain, as your Griffith, he's the best. He's great. Everything's awesome. I really enjoy his depiction as like a sociopath.
Oh yeah.
In the DSM sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the sense where he's like, oh, that's good. Now I don't have to go annihilate an entire town and burn it to the ground. You saved me the trouble. Thank you. And then everyone goes,
great. That would have been, annoying.
Yeah, and then everyone's like, what the fuck? What are you talking? And he's like, right? They go, what the fuck? Are you insane? And he's like, every single time he's like, why is that surprising? Of course. Like naturally, this is what would have to happen. Why is he seems he's really genuinely confused that you don't follow along with his logic.
I'm in love with when you see the talks that he has with his gay boy squad, and like he's like, well, this goal has to happen, so we're gonna do X, Y, and Z. And the gay boy squad's like, isn't that terrible? He's like, but the plan has to happen, so go do it.
He's so genuinely confused that you're not following along. You know, I love that. He operates on a completely different rationale from the planet. It's great. He's great.
I said I'm gonna do it, so I'm gonna do it.
And I appreciate that the member of the gay boy squad that I liked the most is the one that I get to hang out with.
That's correct.
So yeah, just really happy with where this is going. One last little bit about the archetype system. I feel as if the most recent and later archetypes you're getting, like the summoner, devil summoner, and the fucking whatever persona mask changer, like just persona. You know, it feels as if, well, one, you have the versatility of being able to use them in all these different ways, which is, it's so strange because it's a versatile system to begin with, but then you're adding versatility to a single role, which now makes it like, well, then I don't need to expand your...
Okay. I fucked around with that system like crazy, and it's so fascinating because you have the XP feed system where you can feed archetype experience, but then they also balanced party members that you get later by just giving them stronger base classes.
Yes.
So the final party member's base class is so strong, I never swapped him off of it, and he was my strongest party member.
Well, so far, for two of those characters that have, like, the ability to mix up their ability, I'm, like, keeping them on their thing. And it also feels as if, like, the first group, the first four, I have them earning tons of different archetypes and mixing and matching for optimized,
you don't
builds.
Need that for Devil Summoner.
And then the rest,
Devil
I'm like,
Summoner's just good.
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, stay locked into where you are. Thank you. And can we get a little bit of a bonus if we get you into something here? Okay, sure, fine. A little bit of Faker's roguery for you, but stick to what you showed up with.
So I'm gonna give you an archetype tip here. Heismay, his final archetype requires dramatically more experience than the others. The requirements on actually unlocking it are enormous compared to everybody else's. That is because if you unlock Heismay's final archetype, you have essentially beaten the game. It is so much stronger than everything else you get in the game. It is unbelievable.
Wow. Okay.
It is the primary reason why I broke the game's final boss fight.
Interesting.
I mean, like, I literally broke it in that mechanics didn't occur properly.
So I did notice that, like, I had been neglecting him because I looked at, like, my crew, which I was rolling with, like, Stroll, Hulkenberg, and, like, rotating the fourth one out a lot.
Yeah.
One of the support classes usually. But I did see every time I'd pull up the menu of, like, what are other people's parties looking like? Everyone had Heismay in there. Yeah, I noticed a lot of Heismay in there. And I was like, okay, well, I had him on Gunner for a bit, and then I switched him back over, and it's like, okay, cool. Well, now I just got Ninja, So I'm like, okay, cool. Great. Ninja has some really good-looking abilities. Let me start working on those. But I haven't had him as a staple because I've just been, like, working really, really well with, like, the main three and a healer,
So I'm gonna tell you something in the Discord right now. It's a mechanical thing that Heismay gets if you level him up all the way, and it will make a lot more sense as to whether or not you want to spend that time.
That's pretty good.
So that breaks the game system entirely.
That's pretty good. Okay. Gotcha. I mean, right now, I feel like I'm breaking the game in a subtle way, by messing around with, not breaking, but just like...
No. The game is about breaking its own system. I think it's a metaphor.
Perhaps.
Like, I actually legitimately think that the gameplay of feeling like you are breaking the RPG system your characters have been put into is actually a metaphor for the game.
Faker's roguery feels like you can't do this. It is a move.
It's not fair.
That gives you a random number, a dice roll worth of turns, and the chances of it going bad seem to be like minimal compared to the chances of it being good.
Well, I mean, you roll it and you could get between like 2 and 6 turns, or 1 and 6 turns, and like even if you only get the 1, that's still like a minor loss.
Oh, they're blinking now. Oh, I lost the 1 turn. Okay, the next time around it's going to make up for it. It's crazy. It's crazy. And then you give it to 2 of your party members, and you're just like, yeah, we're going to be doing dual techs all day, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, yeah, it feels
By the end of the game,
ridiculous.
I had the final party member running a dual tech setup with an accessory that would create its own weakness to its own attack.
Yeah,
And then give him his turns back.
I mean, right? Yeah, and I'm also doing like, you know, auto buffs that also you have MP recovery while you're buffed, so you just keep going. Like, it's crazy, you know. Anyway, so that's a lot of fun to play.
It's a great system.
But though I am annoyed that like some of the stuff I think is the coolest is like locked behind hard progress. You know, like I've wanted to spend all my time with Katarina, and they make you fucking wait.
Yeah. Well, it's because her final set of upgrades are crazy.
Yeah. From what
when they make you wait, what you get at the end is like, ooh. Also, hey, just for your own information, you're coming up on the final couple of months. The finale of that game is just like, you want like 40 days to just fucking do whatever?
Yeah.
Here you go. I finished everything and still had like weeks to go.
Good.
It's really, really open.
Good. Because yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's lagging that I'm like I wanted to work on.
You'll have so much time.
Fantastic.
You'll have plenty of time.
Yeah, and not to mention as well, but like I really do also like that a lot of those you know, relationships are like there's one big problem you solve, and then the denouement is like the last one or the last 2 in some cases, where it's just like reflecting on it, you know, which is like great characterization.
I'm really bummed out how we solved that.
And then there's fucking Alonzo, which is a whole other thing, you know.
Yeah, he's all right.
But like really like the social links in this game. Really enjoy that, you know, they just kind of sit down and go, "Damn, that shit was nuts. Let's talk about it," you know. Good. Very, very, very good. So I will update as I close out on that. Cool. So yeah, we did a slop stream that will be coming your way.
I saw
soon.
I saw some numerical victories on that slop stream.
There was a numeric victory. There was a taste test of hot ramen noodle marshmallow chocolate s'more flavor.
No, I'm good, man.
Apparently Reggie was holding that, waiting for the next slop stream, and
I'm good.
You want to talk about slop? You got some.
Yeah.
And when he opened the lid, it went in his eye.
Oh, that's so good.
And it truly became a one-day blinding stew.
That's so good. That's amazing. I love it.
So good times ahead. This week we're gonna keep going with Cyberpunk and 1,000 Times Resist. Yeah, good stuff over there. And we're also going to be this Saturday coming back to Mecha Break, sponsored. There's an open beta going on, and that game's very fun. I'm looking forward to jumping back in.
How's your credit score?
What?
Oh, you don't know? Oh, the Mecha Break like progression system is called your credit score.
Oh shit! I forgot.
To determine whether or not you can buy robots is your character's credit score.
Okay. I don't remember that detail.
No, it wasn't there last time around. It's only in the new one.
Oh, sick. Okay. Yeah, team shooter that feels like Zoe / Armored Core movement and stuff. Lots of fun. Very, very down to get back into that. That'll be this Saturday over on Wooly Versus on Twitch and on YouTube. Okay, let's quickly get through some of these stories.
All right, did anything happen this week?
So yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds did real good and made everybody want some cheese naan.
Mm-hmm.
We did. It was teased and now it's confirmed. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4.
Fucking great.
Did
I
you
can't wait to buy that and just have it sit there.
did you see the new secret character?
Fuck yeah, Doom Guy's a great pick.
Doom Guy is amazing. Love it.
Great pick. Doom Guy would definitely fucking shred with Isabel. I still hold that in my heart.
I mean, the question is like, does he come with BFG as a playable background track for his, you know?
He will come with music, so that's cool.
I really hope so. Skating over Doom music would be amazing. And you get to be one of the grunts too, right? That's the other one. Is
the Revenant.
So not much to say there, but nice. Hell yeah, very good, very cool.
I love Doom Man. I love Doom Man.
I love Doom Guy more than in the past. Doom Guy now is a cooler thing than historical gaming Doom Guy, you know?
Yeah, you know what? Doom Guy was always like, I always loved him. I had a soft spot in my heart. But like Doom Guy just like absolutely refusing to speak at all ever in a world in which he totally can, and if he wanted to, endears me greatly.
It's the Dig Dug effect. Nobody hates Dig Dug. Dig Dug was always cool. He did his thing, you know, blowing up those fucking enemies,
whatever the fuck that shit is,
and drilling, you know. But then when you saw him as a grown ass man, as Mr. Driller's fucking father in Namco X Capcom, you're like, let's fucking go Dig Dug, right? It's all about that effect. It's like, yeah, that energy from the past and seeing what he becomes now is incredible. So, fun stuff. Did you see they announced a Samurai Pizza Cats game?
I did, and I also saw that they're like hand animating it.
That's nuts.
It looks great. It looks great.
I never would expect this to be a thing, because like, we love Samurai Pizza Cats, but it feels like a show that was made, you know, the Berserk dubs and how those were just goofing around and like only amongst the English voice actors, and then we just we put it out there. It feels like that, where it's like, this is a completely different show in Japan, and then a bunch of voice actors said, who cares what the script is, you know? And then we got Samurai Pizza Cats out of it, and then we're just going back to that now? Great.
It's great. It's great. I love it.
I really hope they get the intro narrator back as well, and do the whole rap and the whole everything. Do the music. Do everything. There's one job, and that job is to do the theme song. Unfortunately, the genre is like, it's a hand animated side-scrolling thing that looks beautiful. I wish they decided to go with like a team beat 'em up instead of a single character platformer, but it's fine. It's fine.
Stop spitting in this gift horse's mouth.
No, I know. It's just, you think of being able to like, you kind of think of like being able to like fight together, you know, as a team of three. But anyway, Samurai fucking Pizza Cats, blast from the past. They announced a new Suikoden.
Give me a second. It's for a phone, isn't it?
But here's the problem.
Yeah.
You watch the trailer, and they're doing Octopath Traveler stuff.
Okay.
And it's like, you son of a bitch, you're actually trying. And they basically went, yes, this is our first title to be tailored for mobile, and it will have gacha.
Of course it will, because of the 108 Stars of Destiny.
Go fuck yourself.
It's never, come on.
So
it's built for that.
So, you know, I guess the thought process here is, though, just based on the sprites and stuff, is like, this might get ported and like de-gachified, but not before a couple years go by and they're fucking done with it, right?
So that's fine, because that shot was chased with Suikoden 1 and 2 re-releases / remaster are out on Friday.
There's that. And an anime.
Okay. All right.
So a whole bunch of Suikoden news. And look, it's one of those things where, again, it's Konami, right? So trying to salvage one of their brands from what was otherwise just not the pachinko, well, whatever, Konami pachinko mine like hell.
From the trash.
From the trash,
dude. Just from the trash.
Yeah. So if it's one of those bits where it's like, okay, they're they have all these projects they're revitalizing, and somewhere in all these Silent Hills, hey, look, there's a good one in there. Somewhere in these Metal Gear things, hey, look, there's a good one in there. And then I guess in this case, same thing. Then sure, Konami. Castlevania's coming around the bend.
Okay, so I love Castlevania a lot. It doesn't come up that much because Castlevania hasn't been doing a whole lot over the past decade.
Vampire Survivors.
It makes me so insanely pissed off that we're on what, fucking 7 seasons of the Castlevania TV show? Nothing.
Nothing.
Not even re-releases.
Vampire Survivors by someone who fucking loves it.
Actually, no, there was a re-release. There was the DS games, but still.
I mean, so I think too as well, like the era of like timing a theatrical release to a game and like, oh no, the movie sucked. Now what are we gonna do? We had a whole plan for a Dragon Ball Evolution game. That we're committed to. What do you mean?
Can I just get Symphony of the Night on Steam, please? It's the only game.
When you decide to not like pair up the main release or the show release with a game thing, and the show or movie sucks, then great, erase it. No one has to think about it. But when it's a huge success and it keeps going, and then you don't have something for it,
and going. Can we get the Mercury Steam that made Metroid Dread to make a new Castlevania game instead of the Mercury Steam that made those shitty Castlevania games? I feel like Metroid Dread took away a good Castlevania game from me. Like they gave all the really smart people the Metroid job.
If time if time bent in a different way, then Dread would have happened first. Sure.
Metroid Dread's pretty great.
It's pretty great.
It's pretty great. I can't wait to play it on the Switch too.
But would you truly? Well, you would sacrifice Metroid for Lords of Shadow being good, right?
In a second.
And I hate that. That upsets me deeply. I'm so mad at that.
Why?
Because Samus is cooler than Simon Belmont.
Track record. Enjoy other M.
I'll enjoy the combat.
No, you won't. Dude, the combat in that game also sucks. That's what really bugs me.
So I just found out. I disagree, but I just found out that I wasn't paying attention, but a friend of mine pointed out to me that like A2MR like is actually one of the best Metroid related things that's ever come out.
I have heard that, yeah.
And is super worth going and checking out. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was sleeping on that. I'd been following it for a long time about over the years.
Yeah, that was what people would say, like, oh, don't worry about Metroid Dread because A2MR was great.
And so that I'm just like, I had a blind spot. I when it finally released, I was kind of like, okay, cool. It's a remake of Metroid 2, and that one needed some upgrading, so that's dope. And I didn't know that it was like, oh no, this is like phenomenal and like better than.
Wait, I'm thinking of a different game. I'm thinking of this is the remake. This is
another Metroid 2 remake.
Yeah,
it was a fan thing that was being made for like a decade practically or so, and it kept getting updated over time. And then the thing that eventually came out is like really, really good. And apparently it has like a hard mode that kind of turns it into a survival horror thing where like ammo's limited and you're playing a Metroid game on limited ammo, and it's really difficult. Yeah, so cool. Sounds dope. Anyways, speaking of the past, Hideki Kamiya says we can still
What does he fucking say?
we can still resurrect Scalebound. Hey Phil.
Shut up.
Hey Phil, let's do it.
Shut up.
Let's do it, Phil. I'm surprised by
judging on.
I'm just surprised by this because I really thought that like the Bayo 3 monster stuff was recycling the ideas.
I believe that also.
I thought they got shuffled forward into Bayo 3 with the Gamora control. I'm really surprised that it's like, no, this is still a thing. You know?
Here comes a hot take. Are you ready? Fucking gird your shit. Judging on Platinum's fucking recent output, Microsoft was probably right to cancel that game.
Was it old Platinum by then, or was it new?
Who the fuck knows?
What era were we in?
Who knows?
Oh, it was pre-Astral Chain Platinum. I don't know. I think.
Oh man, somebody has summed it up so good. Oh, I want to credit the person. Sure, you can a botch says Scalebound died so Bayo 3 could flop.
Oh man, yeah, I really do. I really do think like you can see the bones of everything they wanted that monster controls stuff to be with Bayo 3.
Absolutely,
and it wasn't that compelling.
No, it wasn't.
And to add insult to injury there, controlling V is actually pretty fun for being a monster summoning dude off to the side.
V is pretty fun.
V is a lot of fun.
Not as fun as the other two, but it was their first shot at V, right? They got to do multiple Neros and multiple Dantes. You could do a better V. Absolutely. Maybe they should make a game starring V called Astral Chain 2. And the character's not called V at all. It's just Astral Chain 2. They should just do that.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Astral Chain is... I'm looking back more and more fondly on Astral Chain as time goes on.
And who would be making it, Pat? Who would be making it?
Capcom.
They're just like, you know what? We give up. You guys can just take it. Yeah. No. Anyway, tough times. Yeah, you know, not much else. I mean, hey, WWE Elimination Chamber happened, and it was in Toronto. And Drake was in the audience, but you couldn't tell by watching the event because he was never acknowledged on screen or in commentary or at all.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. That's good. So, you know, everything in its right place. God is in his heaven.
Wait a second.
All
Every
is right
time
in
they
the
have a
world.
celebrity in the audience, they always pan to them and go, hey, look, who's a celebrity in the audience?
100% of the time. And then even afterwards, there'd be like, oh, look at Tyson Fury's getting in the ring. Like, there's always
you know what?
There's always a little something.
You know what? They probably don't want, like, people there with their kids to be scared.
It is a family business.
You see, he canceled his Australian tour.
Oh, the one where he went under the earth?
Yeah.
the one where he went under the earth to get away. Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, you know. Anyways, all right. Yeah, you know, that's fine. That's pretty much it. Let's take some letters.
Hey, if you want to send in a letter, send it to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com. That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
Did settle that lawsuit, though.
Still got the one going on against UMG. Let's see how that works out.
Shout-outs to Conan O'Brien.
That Conan riff was fucking A+. That just because it's so blunt and flat.
Vicious. It's the halfway point through the show, so this is the part where Kendrick Lamar should come out and call Drake a pedophile.
It's so direct and without any like ornamentation whatsoever. Isn't it funny how that keeps happening? Yes, it is, said everyone in the whole world.
Oh yeah. Acclaim is back.
Yeah, whatever.
And who's behind it?
It's Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff Jarrett's behind Acclaim coming back? What?
I should paraphrase a quote from JR about Jeff Jarrett. He broke tens of thousands of guitars every night. There's tens of thousands of dollars of guitars and never filled a seat. Is what JR has to say about Jeff Jarrett.
Oh. Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Sorry, the quote is never drew a dime.
Oh, God.
Oh.
JR is fucking... Yo, he puts that hot sauce on when he really wants to, man.
Yo, Jeff Jarrett fucking sucks, dude. He had nothing. I'm going to smash my guitar over the guy's head, and my name's Jeff Jarrett. That was it. That was it. The whole fucking thing.
I hate rap. Rap is crap.
Oh, yeah, he did that, too.
He had a rivalry with Master P.
Just the new era of honky tonk man.
Effectively. All right. If you got a letter, you can send it in to castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
What do you got? Hopefully a good email this week. Even just one good email.
Let's see. Let's go with
Pardon me.
Hello, Pat and Wooly. I'm a longtime listener. Started watching you guys when it was to SBF. Question simple. Some games come with games inside of them, like Tekken and Beach Ball. Guys had the RPG inside it. League of Legends has them beat. It has TFT in it as an auto chess game. It has a Vampire Survivors game. It has an arena game and more while being free.
Anything to distract you from the fact that you're playing League of Legends. Absolutely anything.
So, yeah, basically, strongest examples of that. FF14 has its card game or something like that.
It's Yakuza. It's like a dragon.
Oh, having Virtua Fighter wins?
Have you ever gone down like the full list?
Oh, all the
games.
All the games. Yeah. You have a veritable fucking Mario
There is
Party.
an entirety of a Sega arcade catalog in every Like a Dragon game, and I don't just mean arcade games. I mean pool, dart games, mahjong, shogi. Like, there's absolutely no question that Like a Dragon is the absolute king of internal games.
The mini game
to the point
suite.
where their Master System emulation in Like a Dragon has been winning awards for emulation because it's literally the best Master System emulation that has ever existed. It's weird. You can't play those Master System games
elsewhere,
anywhere but inside Like a Dragon games.
And just in case you didn't want to play any of the arcade classics or so, you can go play literal board games or literal shogi, chess, mahjong, etc. Yeah, no, you're right. That is it.
There's no question.
That's the one.
Like, have you played golf in Like a Dragon?
It's
great.
No.
I don't know if it's been in any
I
of the recent
did
ones,
bowling and baseball.
but it's great. And the bowling game is great. Fucking ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Also, I feel like anything that's like League of Legends or Fortnite or so is kind of like that. It almost doesn't count because that's more of a platform than a game at this point. Like, at a certain level of free to play quadruple A size and scale, your game becomes a platform for mini games and features every season. You know, it's not like a release that has like, oh, Triple Triad is in this thing. You know, yeah. How's
Gwent is Gwent's all right.
Gwent's all right. I got into it for a bit. I did fall off, admittedly. You know, but I did get into Gwent for a bit. I do like Gwent. How's Pirate Majima mini games?
It's the most it's ever been.
Yeah.
There was a review I saw recently that said Pirate Yakuza is a mini game collection pretending it's a real video game, but like complimentary.
Nice. Okay.
Like everything in that game is an excuse to play 200 different arcade games.
Are there like pirate themed, like drinking fucking swill?
There's pirate themed baseball, and it's way better than the regular baseball mini game.
Sweet. Dead Man's Morris.
It's way better, actually.
Hell yeah. Okay. And you can play Mahjong in pirate theme.
Oh yeah.
You
play Mahjong. You play Shogi. Is it Shogi or Shoji?
I believe it's Shogi.
Shogi.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shogi is the name.
No. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay. That'll do.
Have a good week, everybody.
Fuck. Shit. God.
Wait, that'll do for the email or that'll do for the podcast? Because I'm about to look really stupid.
No. We're done. It's fine. It's fine. All right. Bye.